the Night and the Gemini crew.
Ooh!
Ooh! Mike into the night, you're here with Mike in the night. Mike into the night, you're here with Mike in the night. Let's just talk about the world, give this page another turn, 'cause you're here with us tonight. Everything's alright when you're here with Mike in the night. Mike into the night, you're here with Mike in the night. Giving the world light when you're here with Mike in the night. Mike into the night, you're here with Mike in the night. Sometimes things are just absurd, so let's just talk about the world, 'cause you're here with us tonight. Mike into the night, you're here with Mike in the night. Mike into the night, you're here with Mike in the night. Let's just talk about the world, give this page another curl, 'cause you're here with us tonight.
I bid you all good morning, good evening, and good night, wherever you be watching this transmission. It is I, Mike Martins. Welcome to another very special and informative edition of Mike in the Night. Guys, the date today is June 13, 2020. We are officially halfway through the year, and man, it ain't looking good on any angle, on any part, on any... But you know what? We're going to be positive, because hopefully the next year is a breeze. And I had a friend... let's kick this off real quick here. Whether you're watching us in the woods, your castle in the sky, your box in the sky, or you're couch surfing on a friend, a friend's couch... pop open a bottle of champagne, maybe a little bit of bubbly water. Hopefully we could get the stream going for longer than 10 minutes. And hopefully we could get this show off the ground tonight. I was really looking forward to doing tonight's show. I'm still looking forward to doing tonight's show. But I'm really hoping that I'm crossing my fingers, having major internet issues. And on the internet side of things, there's no issues on the internet on their side. So wherever you're watching us, welcome to Mike in the Night, and thank you for being part of the show. It looks like we're getting a steady stream now. I'm not getting any feedback in the comments if the stream's okay, so it should be okay. We won't have much people watching tonight, unfortunately, because the stream that everybody set their reminders for is gone. I lost that stream. I'm having a really tough time keeping the upload rate above 10 kilobytes. It's just dead. It's just completely dead. So, it's buffering again. It's not receiving. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not getting internet tonight, guys. I'm so sorry. Someone's saying it's the storms that have hit Calgary. Okay, so it looks like there's some storms hitting Calgary. But how does it affect the entire country's internet? It's like, it just blows me away. It just blows me away how fragile the infrastructure is. Somewhere 10-hour drive away is having a storm. 10 hours away driving, 2 hours by plane, you don't get internet. So it's really weird how it's so frail, So hopefully we can keep this stream going. We're not going to get much watching tonight, guys, again, because... no one's getting notifications when I do go live, and if I do go live and a lot of people are on the channel, I just get hacked. I remember back about a year ago, every time I'd reach 80 people watching the stream, it'd go offline. And it wasn't my internet, it was the YouTube algorithm would cut it right off. Then I would have to restart my stream many times. And a lot of people that have been watching Mike in the Night over the years know what I've been going through You know, I'm going to post, Buddy there has a good point. Post your live stream to the community tabs. So I'm going to go here to the live stream. Would cut it right off. Then I would have to restart my stream many times. And a lot of people... Okay, it looks like it's running okay on this end. So I'm going to copy that. Copy this stream. Close this window so it doesn't confuse me. Go back to YouTube. I'm going to do this really quick, guys, so we could get... Hopefully, we could get more people watching or more people on the show. So let's see if we could get more people. Unfortunately, I'm not going to get the... I lost that stream. The main one is gone. The main stream is gone. So a lot of people won't know we're live anymore. Okay, hopefully somebody sees that in their thing. Hopefully. Yeah, so this other stream is dead. It got 291 views in the first 15 minutes, and then it got shut down. Oh, man. 786 views. And look at this, guys. Look at this, guys. Watch this. So you guys know what is happening, okay? Watch this. Watch. Okay. Let me zoom this in. So I just streamed about an hour ago, right? It's showing my stream 22 hours ago. And it was like not even an hour I was doing this. So something is not right. I think something's wrong with YouTube. I think there's something wrong. I remember a month ago where all the live streams were cut off and everybody got a strike or something. And something happened with YouTube or I don't know what happened, but yeah, all I want is more than 10 people watching, and I'm happy with 10 people watching. So no one's going to know I'm live. So if you guys, the 29 people that are watching, let's get this live stream going. I'm going to ask you guys right now to go below the live stream, below where you see me, and click share. Share this to anything right now. Share this to anything. I don't care. Share it to MySpace. Share it to Instagram. Share it to anything you want to go against the algorithm. Go against them. So there it is. Live now. There it is. Okay, so we got it live working now. And good call, Low Roller Scratcher. So hopefully people will see this and catch this. Yeah, you got to be like polite to, like, if, you know, I was talking to a friend the other day, and a good friend, and he was telling me, you know, Mike, you know why you're seeing all these problems, right? Because it's an election year. 2020 is bad because it's an election year, guys, unfortunately. Ever since Hillary Clinton lost the election to Donald Trump, everybody on mainstream media has been punished for it. Mainstream media has been punished because she lost the election. And in my opinion, I think Hillary Clinton is one of the most powerful people in the world. Because if you could get away with some of the stuff she has, you have a lot of power. You could manipulate and shut down all the platforms that are not in your favor. You could shut down freedom of speech. You could do whatever you want. Hillary Clinton, in my opinion, is very powerful. And it sucks. You know? Sometimes I wish she won the election, so then, like, you would see Alex Jones again on YouTube. Nothing would have been shut down. Now we're in 2020, we're in an election year. And that's a big issue. Because it's an election year in the 2021 is going to be a breeze. 2021 is going to be like nothing's happening. 2021 will be the boringest year. I'll have Mike in the Nights in 2021. I'll have Mike in the Nights in 2021 where I have nothing to talk about. Because there's nothing happening. Because we are in an election year, and they really want to sway things the way they want, they're going to do everything they could do. They're gonna blame the Catholics. They're blaming the whites. They're blaming everything they could do. They're doing everything they could do to destroy the fabric of these platforms that we've built. That we have, we're all a community here. You know what I'm saying? I like to see my channel as like my YouTube channel is going nowhere in a hurry. So I got nothing to lose, right? I'm going nowhere in a hurry. And if you go to the back end of my channel, there's a website where you could check other YouTube channels and see how much money they make, how many videos they have, how many subscribers they have. There's a website that actually shows you the back of YouTube channels, like the back end. The stuff I see, you could see it for free at home. There's a website. I'm going to ask a couple of people that talked about this website already. And you could see that in one day, after one very successful Mike of the Night, and we had a great time, I lost exactly 1,000 subscribers in one day. So in one day, 1,000 people said, I hate Mike Martins, I'm going to unsubscribe. No. And there was another time I lost 800 subscribers in one day. And there was another time I lost 400 subscribers in one day. So, we got Steve the Plumber. Steve, what the heck are you doing awake? It's like 1 o'clock. Oh, you gotta love Hill Dog. Gino's got it right. You love Hill Dog. No, Nanny, you're not late. I know you didn't get a notification. What happened, Nanny, was I tried to get the stream up earlier. I was on the phone with the internet company for about 40 minutes, and it's not my internet, and it's not my internet, and it's not their end, and it's not my end on the internet. It has nothing to do with my frames per second, my upload. It has nothing to do with that. It has nothing to do with my background. It has nothing to do with anything. The problem is, they're saying that the problem is with YouTube. They have a lot of people calling in and complaining about their bandwidth or complaining about something, and it's something to do with YouTube, they're saying. They're getting a lot of calls, not from me, from all over, everywhere, complaining about this. So, it sucks. It sucks. I kind of, honestly, I know, don't crucify me for saying this. Please don't crucify me. But I just sometimes wish that Hillary Clinton won the election, because then you'd still see Alex Jones on YouTube. Everything would be the same. We'd probably be at war with like 20 more countries, and we'd be printing money like normal, and we would have no trade war with China, because we would just be selling off our jobs and selling off whatever we can to China. And we'd be a lot worse down the road, right? So, like, is it, you see what I'm saying? Everybody got punished when she lost the election. So, Lower Earl Scratch is saying, Seattle has been taken over by a peaceful protest. What's next, Mike? We got Scary Times in the house. We got Pure Grosso in the house. Nanny in the house. Low Roller. Steve the Plumber. Just finished working, trying to relax and unwind. Wow, I told you guys on trends in the housing market. Steve is a hard worker, man. Steve is a working man. So let's go over some channel news real quick. I kind of want to plug a bit of channel news because there's a little bit of fighting going on the channel. And I'll show you guys what's happening here on the channel. So we're not gonna get a lot of people watching tonight, unfortunately. I'm really sorry, guys, about the comments are gonna run. Steve, I'm gonna send you a code to give you your wrench back. And put this code in the comments, and I know it's you, and then I'll give you back your wrench, because there's too many people. There's too many fake accounts coming on and asking for wrenches. So Steve, I just sent you a code right now on Skype. So go ahead and put that in, and I know it's you. Yeah, Living the Dream said it's not bedtime. Protester in Melbourne tested positive. A BLM protester in Melbourne tested positive. Okay, there's Steve the Plumber. That's our Steve the Plumber then. I know that's Steve the Plumber. Okay, there you go, Steve. I know it's you. There you go, my friend. Okay, so let's get to some channel news. I kind of want to talk about this that's been happening here. So let's run over to article scan real quick here. So I did a video today because the original video I made got no views on it. And okay, it's not even up here. Okay, so they didn't even put the video up here, even though it's in a category. So, wow, look at all these Mike in the Nights. Wow, I got to go in and delete all these. Look at the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of views on these Mike in the Nights. Wow. Okay, comment section at war. It's right here. All right. Let me just shrink that down. Comment section at war, right here. So there's somebody in the comments. So this video got no views. Canada needs more Chinese to cure its economic woes. And I didn't make that up. That is actually an article here. Revive millionaire migration to cure Canada's economic woes. So there on this video, there's a lot of smack and talk and back and forth. And a lot of people, some people have weighed in and said, yes, Canada does need foreign investing because foreign investing is the future of Canada. And I'm like, I don't know about that. I'm not too sure about that. So there it is right here. I wanted to show this to you guys. So if you guys get some time, go on my channel, go under videos, and you guys will see under videos, you'll see crazy comment and arguments. And then there's the original video here. Canada needs more Chinese to cure economic woes. And that got really hammered down. I used to get a lot of views on my videos, on average, a lot more than that. They're not getting out anymore. So, yeah, it's finally running. The fake Skumo, can you go and share this? Sean Liemerman, Steve the Plumber, Nani, everybody go below on the video you're watching now, and then click share. Please share this because nobody knows I'm live anymore, so I'm not going to get many people watching. So I'm going to go into the back end here, and I'm just going to fix this while I'm talking to you guys. So, yeah, so what's happening is there's something happened in the back end in YouTube, and I'm not understanding what's happening. So there's something bigger, and I think I'm going to be really frank with you guys. I wholeheartedly think that YouTube is at war with itself. I think it's at war. I honestly think it's at war, and I'm not going to say I know what's going on, or I'm not going to say I understand the internal issues, but I think there's some people that work at YouTube, and I think they're starting to realize that they're not going to have a platform much longer, right? We got Nanny saying foreign investing is being promoted. It sure is. We got Jordan Retro in the house. More affordable housing would jumpstart the economy. Yeah, well, the average person can't get into anything, right? The average person doesn't have 2 nickels to rub together, right? So that's another issue. Look, what do you do? What does somebody do, right? Raj, my man Raj in the house is saying, you're not the only one with this YouTube problem. Yeah, YouTube Purge 2020. Guys, we're in an election year. I'm sorry. Like, everyone has to go through hell during an election year now. You know? Everybody needs to go to hell. Everybody goes through hell during an election year. 2021? You're going to have to go outside and throw a rock at the window or something to get some action in your life, because it's going to be so boring in 2021. There's going to be no weekly tweets. There's going to be nothing in 2021. 2021 is going to be the year of smooth sailing into the next election cycle year. And then in 2024, all this crap happens all over again. And it's heartbreaking, you know? Anyways, you know, I like you guys. You guys are always here for me. And you know what? I'm always here for you guys too. I'm always here for you guys. I get a lot of people call me on Skype during the week, and unfortunately, I don't have my Skype on during the week for calls. So yeah, I'm gonna open. I'm going to go ahead and open some news, and then maybe we get some more people starting to roll in. Guys, go ahead and share this, please, if you can. I really appreciate it right now. I'll never ask for like a whole month. I promise. To share a live stream. I promise. Okay, let's do this. Let's go over to... Seattle is a new country. We'll get to that right now. Hey, McChronicle in the house. Hey, y'all. I always know you've been there for me, Mike. Thanks for it all. Buddy, I love you, man. 3RG, I love you, man. Steve the Plumber, I love you. I love all you guys. Jordan Retro, man, I love you. Blunt News, I love you, man. Even the fake ScoMo, I love you too, man. Nanny, I love you, man. And I'm not saying that because I'm trying to be brother love. I really mean it. Okay, let's go to... All right, wow. Okay, so let's see if we can get this running again. What do we do? What do we do? Let's see. Let's go over some news while I start fixing things here in the background. All right, let's go to article scan. All right, here we go. Listen to this. Listen to this. The Republic of Chaz begins preparations. White participants pressured to give blacks $10 each. I'm going to say that again in case your ears have trouble believing what you just heard. Republic of Chaz begins reparations. White participants pressured to give blacks $10 each. Are we talking about black people? Or are we talking about Black's Pharmacy? This has to be this. Actually, you know what? This was actually reported on some other thing. Seattle's so-called Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone (CHAZ), which Low Roller Scratcher is actually discussing in the comments for us to bring up. So Low Roller Scratcher always has his finger on the pulse. To be honest with you, he always knows what's going on. Okay, Seattle's so-called Capitol Hill Anonymous Zone has begun reparations as white members of the fledgling sovereignty. So they've got some sovereignty going on here. We were asked Friday night to give at least one black person $10 before leaving the area. Gonna have to.
Hola, Miguel.
Hey, Supreme.
What is happening?
I'm having a really terrible... It's not my internet. It's the back end of YouTube.
Is it? Are they giving you trouble?
Big time. Big time. But a lot of people are telling me that it's not just me. There's other people having this problem too.
I think so. I haven't seen notifications for your streams for a couple of weeks now.
Yeah. What can we do?
No, it's
well, you know what? We got 62 people watching, and you know what? That's us. It's us. We're here. We're all here.
That's right. Our Cosa Nostra is here.
La Cosa Nostra. It's our thing. We got
Cosa Nostra.
Look, we got Low Roller. We got the fake ScoMo. We got McChronicle. We got Steve the Plumber. We got you. We got 3RG. We got Nanny. We're all here. Blunt News.
Got the all-star lineup.
Yeah, we're all here. So, okay, guys. Okay, so Supreme, I don't know if, I'm going to throw something at you, and you're going to have to, maybe break this down a bit, or you're going to have to educate me, because I have, almost no education. So you're going to have to help me here, right?
Okay.
The Republic of Chaz is this new autonomous zone in Seattle, right?
Yes.
It begins
Yeah.
reparations. White
Hmm.
participants pressured to give blacks $10 each. Are we talking about blacks
Yeah.
pharmacy? What are we? What is like? I don't.
Basically, if you're a European, you should be giving someone of African ancestry $10 to set an example of reparations. The idea is that all of the wealth transfer, the 5 or 6 trillion of wealth transfer in the Great Society since the 60s, doesn't count. The 500,000 war dead in the Civil War doesn't count. None of that counts. No, no, we owe every black person. These are probably people that came from Senegal in the 70s. Like, it doesn't matter. It's just so absolutely retarded. It's unthinkably retarded. And it's just because of the election.
We're in an
You've got
election
some
year, and I
Antifa
told at the
guys.
beginning, I said, "Look, 2021.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to start pouring gravy down my pants for my show and break car windows driving by to get to talk about something, because 2021 is going to be like, you have to check to see if we have a pulse, because the problem is, because we're in a piece of crap election year, we're all being punished.
Pretty much that, and the idea is to punish anybody who does not support whatever the hell it is they claim to support, depending on what week and what news cycle it is. Right now, because of the George Floyd thing, that was the opportunity for Black Lives Matter, Antifa, everybody to really start a nationwide uprising. They can't win the 2020 election. It isn't about anything else. This has got nothing to do with justice at all. This is politics. This is 1968 style politics, and that's all it is.
Remember when they brought in those busloads of policemen into Detroit in 1960? Was that 67 or 68?
68, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
There were riots all over. There were even riots in Europe, for crying out loud. Just youth blowing off steam and getting and the professional agitators getting in and getting an opportunity to get the crowd whipped up. And yeah, no, it's just to influence elections. Like I said last time, this is basically the Democrat Party's Tet Offensive. They're pulling out all the stops because they want their people in Washington in November. And if they can't do that, well, then the alternative is start a civil war. And to an extent, it worked. I mean, Nixon was elected on a peace platform,
Mm-hmm.
and he did a large part bring it about before he was impeached.
Mm-hmm.
And what he was impeached for wasn't anywhere near as bad as what these clowns are being investigated for right now, and they know that too. So it's I've maintained that there are at least two factions, distinct factions fighting for power in Washington right now, and this is just the representatives of one faction that are starting trouble all over the country, trying to disrupt the 2020 election. Like, if General Giap in Vietnam would time the Tet Offensive, the actual Tet Offensive of 1968, to disrupt American electoral politics, then there isn't any reason to believe that people wouldn't do it in the continental United States. So that, to me, that's what this is all about. You had a few people in Chaz, Capitol Hill autonomous zones. It's just something to appeal to the tankies, those college kids who wear Marx and Che Guevara shirts, right? And they want to bring the tanks in and eat the rich, and cultural revolution, and vegan soy autonomy or whatever, right? Like, it's just a big tent of every loopy group that you can imagine getting together to, have their own little revolution. And it'll be over.
Let me throw something out there. It says, I want to find, by the time you leave this autonomous zone, I want you to give $10 to one African American person from this autonomous zone. And if you find that's difficult, if you find it's hard for you to give $10 to people of color, to black people especially, you have to think really critically about, in the future, are you going to actually give up power and land and capital when you have it?
Those are silly questions, aren't they? I mean, you're living in a capitalist society. Anybody who wants to work and accumulate capital could have land and equipment or whatever they wanted. Like nobody owes these people anything. They owe them nothing. So this is just picking a scab to make sure that the wound never heals. That's what it's about. Multiculturalism, I don't think there might be some useful idiots who think that kind of thing will actually work. But for the most part, I think it's just to keep people in a state of low-level turmoil. So whenever they need to, they can turn up the heat on the stove and stir up riots and stir up murders and looting and destruction. You got 6 blocks of downtown Seattle, which has to be incredibly valuable real estate. I'm wondering what everybody else who lives in that area thinks of this little stunt, and they're probably wondering where the police department is.
I got here Ravi G in the comments saying, I'd be offended if I was black, and it's so belittling.
Well, it is. Yeah, it's patronizing. It's patronizing in the worst sense. They're claiming to speak for they're like those little purple-haired feminists that claim to speak for all women. They don't. Only 20% of women identify as feminists, and yet these people are the ones who are the ones going on the talk shows and the ones apparently influencing culture and saying, okay, this is what women want. Well, it's the same with blacks with visible minorities. It's the same with the poor. It's the same with any economic or social group that you can imagine. You've got these wingnuts that claim to speak for them, and the mainstream media gives them a platform because that's their job. Because they are, in the end, propagandists.
Okay, so it says here, so find an African-American person, white people, I see you, I see every one of you, and I remember your faces. You find that African-American person and give them that $10. Cash up, Venmo, $10 in your pocket. That's my challenge to you. Do it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Most of these kids, I doubt they have $10 in their pocket to begin with. They probably spent it all. Like they were asking for donations. They were asking for vegan food and, soy this and tofu that. And they were asking for blankets and they were asking for, charcoal heaters and cigarettes, everything you could imagine. That's right. Most feminists are usually made kitty. Yeah, and that's right. Yeah. Or some name like that. No, it's street theater. Yeah, in the end, that's what it is. It's just a more destructive form of street theater. It's the idea is that we're going to create the illusion of chaos. We're going to have burning vehicles and garbage-strewn streets and talk of revolution and a youth uprising in order to influence electoral politics in a presidential election year, and it isn't anything else.
We got another article here from Zero Hedge saying Twitter reinstates Zero Hedge after admitting it made an error. I think there's going to be a lot of enforcement action, even though they're just going to call it an error if someone complains. And I think if Zero Hedge didn't make a complaint about it, they would have just left it off.
Oh, I think so. I'm not sure if the original Zero Hedge or whoever publishes that, they may well have started a court case if that was the case. If Twitter is reversing taking down a site as big as Zero Hedge, then they probably there was probably a legal threat involved. That seems to be the only thing that really reverses these decisions, because the truth is they, they're skirting a fine line because they act in the role of a public utility because there are so many people on these sites. But when you decide who can be there and who can't, then you're acting as a publisher. Well, that's a completely different tax bracket, and that's a completely different function. And a publisher can decide what gets published on their site and what doesn't. But if they become a publisher, then all the people that are creating content on there also have a reason to expect to be paid. So they don't want that. But they really, really, really don't want any kind of conservative voice or what they consider establishment, right? In other words, America prior to about 1968. which hasn't existed since that time. It's been progressively undermined or abandoned. I mean, the boomers are in their 70s, for crying out loud. Like, that's a long time ago now.
Dude, they're going to be blaming the boomers in 2035.
Oh yeah, they'll be blaming them in 2135. God only knows if we'll ever be able to clean up the mess they made. Right? It'll be a different world when they're gone, that's for sure. And in some ways better, in some ways worse, just because of the damage that's going to have to be fixed. I mean, it was generally considered that it was every generation's duty to the following generation to leave them without debts and leave things better than they found them. The boomers were the first, definitely, to break that cycle.
Okay.
Yeah, like they're just spending money like water and passing on the bill to their great-grandchildren. Après moi le déluge. They don't really care what happens after they're gone, and they make it plain. And I'm not just going to lean on them, because the truth is, it was also the philosophy of the generation before them, who were the actual political leaders in 1968. Okay, so there were a lot of things that were leading up to what we would call the time of the boomers, that the boomers didn't invent, to be perfectly fair. It's just there's a lot of common sense that went out the door, and it needs to come back big time.
Okay, so we got here, visualizing the racial wealth gap in America. How do you prepare for a revolution? All hell breaks loose across the U.S. A resistance movement to the status quo seems to be increasingly violent. A lot of folks are pretty sure that a revolution is coming, and many people say it's already here. Now, I know that the left is pushing for something like this, but the problem is they're going to lose.
Well, yeah, of course they're going to lose.
Like,
I don't know what victory would look like. I think a victory to the left would be, if they can't win the 2020 election, then they make sure there won't be one. They would rather see civil war. And the people that are financing this nonsense are partly just professional agitators. That's their life, right? They don't know anything else. What happens if the government collapses and society dissolves into chaos? They haven't really thought about that. They just think that, we'll all just get together with community policing initiatives, and we'll all live like we're all in one big rainbow commune, right? And that's not going to happen. They're going to be useful idiots. If they ever succeeded in collapsing America, they're going to be the first ones stood against the wall, like happens in every revolution. And they're too stupid to know that. They're too young, or they're too immature, or they're just too stupid. They don't get it. But no, I don't think they'll win anyway. I mean, because they don't have the thing they need most. They don't have Washington. They don't have control of taxing. They don't have control of expenditure. They don't have control of the military. Certainly the military has traitors in its ranks, but for the most part, no, they're sworn to defend the Constitution, and they will. And they've got 12 million veterans that are ready to take up AR-15s if it came to that. They're not going to win. It's just we all have to watch this gong show go on until after November. And at that point in time, I'm assuming Trump will still be in charge at that point. No, then there's no reason not to call out the National Guard and impose order. But yeah, it's going to be a long, hot summer.
Okay, here we go. Article scan. Narrative control operations escalate as America burns. Wikipedia, Facebook, Twitter, and mainstream media are falling all over themselves with censorship and spin jobs to get the narrative back under control as mass protests continue to sweep across America. So,
yeah. Well, and that's the thing, you're talking about America collapsing, America burning, America in turmoil. Most people that don't live in those 20 odd cities, okay, which is at least half the population of America, this stuff isn't happening there. They don't care. The biggest problem they have is for this COVID thing to work itself out so that they can go back to work and live their lives. Like, it's just really... It's just goofy. It's tilting at windmills. They don't have anything else.
So Twitter deleted 170,000 accounts that ties to the Chinese government.
Favorable to the Communist Party chairman. Wow, that's a change. I would have thought it would have been somebody else.
Yeah, it's really weird. I thought they would have,
Yeah.
That's like...
Well, they may... They're probably playing politics there, too. because there's no question the Chinese have put a lot of troll accounts on, but a
Mhm.
lot of those accounts are probably bots, right? That they put pro-Chinese, responses to conservative tweets, that kind of a thing. I mean, Twitter is an intellectual and political battle space. It's
Mhm.
information warfare, and they've probably gotten enough warnings for Washington that they're kind of starting to back off a little bit, because China is a nasty place right now.
It's over. America. Tulsa police mayor says cops across the country are on the verge of quitting. They're looking at defunding the police, but the problem, another problem, is a lot of cops are looking just to throw in the towel and say, "Good riddance, I'm done." Like, I'm done.
Yeah, well, I have a feeling when you're talking about cops across the country, again, you're probably talking about these big cities. Well, most of the riots are happening in solidly blue cities that have been solid Democrat for 40, 50 or more years. Okay, and the problem is, part of the reason I think in a place like Minneapolis, they're talking about this community-based policing initiative, is just a fig leaf for the fact that they're going to go broke and not be able to pay these cops anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Like Chicago, Illinois. Illinois is bankrupt. They're not going to be able.
Yeah,
to
they
pay
got like a
wages,
million
and they're
layers
not.
of government there.
They got a million layers of government, enormous, ridiculous taxes, and the cops have been interfered because of this racial politics and poverty politics BS from the beginning, these cities are just using this as a fig leaf to say, okay, well, we're going to defund our police departments, because the reality is they're going to go broke anyway. They're going to lose their police when they can't pay for police. There aren't going to be any. Right? So their solution is, well, we'll just enforce some kind of community policing plan. In other words, Antifa people armed with weapons are going to go around the neighborhood and enforce their agenda, right? And it will be illegal for anyone to protect themselves, like it usually is in those cities.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So if you shoot back against someone like that who's looting your property, then they throw you in prison. Of course, the problem is, if there's no police, there's nobody to come get you. So they haven't thought this through very well, because they're not going to be able to enforce it without police.
Yeah, well, again, the left would lose horribly.
Totally. They'll be massacred. Because that's the thing. If the cops disappear and it's just self-appointed mobs walking around saying that they're going to communalize the neighborhood, and that you're going to start letting crackheads grow potatoes in your backyard, you tell them to screw off, one or two threats, and that'll be the end of it. The shots will be fired, and there will be bodies in the streets. And it'll look like Mogadishu. At that point in time, somebody like Trump will send in the National Guard by order, and if the governor won't send them in, then he'll send the Marines. Because he can do that, because they answer to him personally and directly. He could send them anywhere without any kind of approval of Congress, and he can go in and restore order. And even if every paper in the country is calling him the second coming of Hitler, you're going to have a lot of new Republican voters in 2020. So the more they do this, the more he's going to, he has to let this fester. He has to let it burn. He has to let it boil. He has to let these people suffer for being so stupid, because they mindlessly elect the same clowns over and over again. Plus, it gives an opportunity to go in. There are areas in Philadelphia, for example, in 2016, where, if you showed up to a polling place, Democrats or the local, city union or something like that had strong arm there to make sure that you voted correctly. There's a lot of intimidation and a lot of election interference in America. Right. So the worse it gets, the more justification Trump has to go into those areas, knowing full well that the national media is going to call him Hitler. But the people that he saves from complete destruction at that point, he becomes their savior. So it's going to be a close run thing in that regard. I don't think the election will be close, but the complete destruction of these cities, they're not on the brink yet.
I was saying earlier, we wouldn't be in such a mess today if the Democrats win. I think we'd be in a mess war-wise overseas more. And I think Alex Jones would still be on YouTube. David Icke would be on YouTube. Everything,
Yeah.
like the people that are raising their voices wouldn't be so punished so hard, right?
Yeah, well, it would be they'd be increasing the eminent domain. They'd be increasing taxes. They would launch a renewed assault on gun confiscation.
Right.
Absolutely guaranteed they would weaponize the IRS. We know that because they did all of that under Obama.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So you're going to have another Democratic presidency. Plus they're going to try to regain the ground they lost in the 4 years since Trump was president, which means that there's probably hundreds of executive orders that are going to be canceled and reversed, which means more taxes, which means more regulations. It's going to be. I don't think it's going to be close.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's a question. They know Trump's going to get elected, so the only thing they can try to do is either force him to do something that makes him look really, really bad to his own base, or prevent the election from happening at all.
Yeah, that's
so this is it. This is the Tet Offensive.
Do you remember the Lost Canuck said that there's not going to be no election this year?
I don't agree with what he's saying there. I'm not sure exactly where he got that from. I know that he follows QAnon,
Mm-hmm.
for example, and he said it was not just another 4-year election was one of the themes on there. Okay, but that doesn't mean that there won't be an election. It just means that the issues being dealt with will be different. That's how I interpret that. If it was some prophetic revelation from somebody, maybe that he follows, in the evangelical circles, I couldn't rule it out. The thing is that even in the midst of the Civil War in 1864, right, they had an election, and Lincoln was reelected. But part of the reason he was reelected is because by 1864, Sherman, for example, had just taken Atlanta.
Yes.
Right. He had his march through the Shenandoah Valley. He just peeled it. 60 miles of the Shenandoah Valley was peeled like an orange, like he said, and they captured Atlanta. So they scored a couple of major victories. The end of war was in sight at that point. And there's no question it was a disaster for the Confederacy. So in a situation like this, all Trump has to do is just endure. Yeah, Sean Lemmerman, I agree. Trump should leave Chaz be. No National Guard unless the governor begs for it. That's exactly what we need to see. We need to see city reps going over the governor's head directly to the president saying, for God's sake, please save us. We're sorry. We'll never vote for these clowns again. They have to wallow in their own excrement for a while. They have to live with the consequences of their own nonsense. And the cops that want to quit is because they're seeing the results of, the final culmination of 50 years of mismanagement that has been papered over and ignored by the media, and things that are just not addressed decade after decade. And now these cities are on the verge of bankruptcy as it is. The COVID-19 shutdown, no question, has accelerated the process a great deal. Look at the deficits we're running in Canada right now. My God. So all of these things that had been accumulating for a long time and had not been dealt with at all have gone hockey stick. They're gonna, instead of being resolving themselves in a matter of 4 or 5 years, it's going to be 4 or 5 months. A lot of people, no question, in those big cities are living in a state of crisis, and the heat has been turned up on them badly, and the leaders that they believe were so progressive and enlightened are proving themselves to be lunatics of the highest order. And that's a good thing. That in the end is a good thing. They have to suffer the way they made middle America suffer for 50 years.
Yeah.
And they deserve it, because you shouldn't be ignorant of your neighbor, regardless of, he's still your countryman, regardless of whether you think he's some, tobacco chewing, gap-toothed, sister marrier. Okay, it's like, no, they're still Americans. You should be thinking of yourself as a fellow citizen, kind of a thing, right? No, you need to think of yourself like in Canada. We need to think of ourselves as a family. Right. Yeah, Ontario. Yeah, I've got nothing but spite for them because they keep returning those idiots to Ottawa, but they don't seem like idiots to them because in those cities you have your own kind of economic island where you're isolated from the things that happen out in the countryside. And it takes a long time. And now that the unrest is really starting to spill out of the inner cities and starting to affect the more gentrified areas, yeah, things are going to change quick.
Someone's telling me to look up the Chaz party.
Yeah, well, yeah, like I say, street theater, right? It's a huge block party street festival. They've just decided to declare a holiday from law and order and get it out of their system. I don't know what the bill is going to be to replace the broken glass and remove the graffiti and get services working again and rebuilding the inside of stores and apartments in these areas after this occupation. But man, I'll tell you, if Governor Inslee is not dragged into court by a class action lawsuit by the actual law-abiding citizens that lived in that 6-block area, I would be shocked. And I don't care how blue, how pink-haired, liberal, vegan, whatever the hell they are. That is nonsense. That is not his job. And same with the mayor of the city. It's not their job to be doing that stuff. Their job is to repair the potholes and make sure the sewers work and keep the streets clear, free of crime. That's what people pay taxes for. So here you go. These people are getting a taste of their own medicine, and it couldn't happen to a better group. They need it. They need an education. I don't wish them any harm at all. I really don't. But they need an education in reality. You live in the city, and you're isolated from certain kinds of reality. It's not that cities in themselves can't have a gritty reality too, but there's something inhuman about those places.
It looks pretty cold in Seattle. Everyone's wearing jackets.
Yeah, well, it's cold here. You probably had that big storm go through yesterday like we did.
Yeah, I get a little sprinkle of rain and the internet goes down.
Yeah, they can get tedious. Yeah, power was out here yesterday for a while. Yeah, no, we had 60, 70 mile an hour wind, it looked like, and rain coming down so hard it looked like fog. I couldn't see across the yard to the shop. It was crazy. It was just 20, 30 minutes of hail, and oh my God, it was just massive, and then suddenly it was over. But it's supposed to warm up again in a few days.
Yeah,
looks like the same there.
Okay, Supreme, I'm gonna let you go, buddy. I appreciate you coming on and smoothing things out. Like, man, I've been having a really tough night. I lost a lot of views because of the people that actually registered or set the reminders for the show. I lost that stream.
I saw that happening. Yeah, well, I didn't get notifications either. So yeah, someone's messing with you, pal.
Yeah, no, a lot of people. I got a lot of people last 2-3 Mike in the Nights in a row saying that nobody's getting notifications. That's why I'm asking people to share this live stream right now. Go below and actually share the live stream itself, and go ahead and share it with their friends and stuff, so we can see if we can get more people coming in. Hopefully some new people will subscribe, and then YouTube will just unsubscribe them, so it's not a big deal, right? You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah,
I'll get a subscriber for a day, and then YouTube will realize that this shouldn't be subscribed to me, and
yeah, that's right. Yeah, no, man. We know you're here. We know you're not going anywhere, and we're not going anywhere either. You got your you've got your friends here tonight. That's the main thing.
That's the main thing, buddy.
Trying to get the stream going 4 or 5 times before it finally took. God willing, it will go to the end now. Was probably tedious too.
Mm-hmm.
But
it was an absolute disaster. So you put so much work into this. I had everything planned for tonight's show and everything, and then I started closing windows, trying to figure it out, trying to figure out what's going wrong. What is that? And then I'm on the phone with the internet guy. He's like, you know what? We're gonna start charging YouTube fees for getting our assistants and technicians to talk to people that are trying to upload or stream live to YouTube, because they're wasting our technicians' time.
Oh yeah, because
that's
so
what the guy
busy
told me. He's
doing
like,
whatever
we had a meeting the other day about this. Like, we have to let you guys know that it's YouTube that's doing this. It's not like the internet, because there are a lot of technicians in the internet department that you call are wasting their time because the internet's fine.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. There's no question. YouTube as a platform is just a train wreck. It's getting worse. Like it should go back to the way it was in 2006. Just let people say what they're going to say. If someone is reporting, something that isn't, who cares about political correctness? Like you could download videos about how to make, diesel and ammonium nitrate fertilizer freaking truck bombs, but it's not like you couldn't get that information anywhere, right? It's like, no, like, yeah, keep the hardcore triple X stuff and, the snuff films. Keep that stuff off. Yeah, absolutely, because it's absolutely inhuman, but everything else, no, fair game, man. Just leave it alone. Let people be. That was the idea. If they thought it was a method of social control, well, now everyone's watching them doing it and they're not impressed. The reason that you have Gab and the reason that you have alternatives to Twitter, you have DLive, DTube, BitTube or BitChute, and Brighteon. The reason you have these alternative platforms that are growing rapidly is because there are a certain number of people that are not going to accept YouTube's politics as their own. They don't care about that. Right? I mean, it's stupid. They're the first mover. This should be the biggest, most profitable, and most popular platform on the planet, and they're sawing off the branch they're sitting on. So let them be stupid, I guess.
Yeah, let them be stupid. Let them shoot themselves in the foot. Let them be the next MySpace.
Absolutely, like Napoleon said, never interrupt your enemy when he's making a mistake.
Yep, that's good words to live by.
Yeah.
All right, Supreme. We'll talk soon. Hopefully, if the weather's good, maybe come by next week if you can.
Yeah, we've had a project going on out at the shop, so I've been on my feet pretty much every day for the last week or so. It's been good. Yeah, if I get a spare day, I definitely still intend to come out there and have a couple cinnamon rolls and solve the world's problems, my friend.
That's right, my brother. Maybe we could build that island together.
Well, that sounds good.
You know that. You know what I'm talking about, right? The island we were working on?
Oh, right.
That island.
Tropico,
Remember that
Tropico,
island?
yeah. Yeah, well, we're going to start our own Banana Republic at some point, so we should get good at it.
Yeah. We're practicing.
Definitely.
Simulation.
Yeah.
Simulation island.
Simulation, yeah. We start with the simulation. We got to game out exactly how you start a Banana Republic. I don't know. Maybe Honduras will be up for sale again one of these days. Maybe we'll just go take a whole country and do our thing down there.
Yeah.
I like to be an alcalde.
Yeah. All right, Supreme. Thanks so much. We'll talk soon.
Okay. God bless, buddy.
Bye.
And good night, everyone.
Good night. Wow. That is Supreme Cañon. I want to thank him for coming on the show. I've been wanting to get him on the show. Like, I know he's been busy and stuff, and it happens. People are busy, and it's part of life, and it's just, it is what it is. But yeah, we got over 80 people watching on an unannounced Mike in the Night. Any of your guests? Let me see. Let me see if I could call Tito. Tito's in Seattle right now. Let me see if I could give him a call right now. Let me see if I could get Tito in the call. Oh man, Tito, what's your, I don't know. See, he was on the last live stream, and I lost him on the last live stream. Tino, here he is. Let me give him a call and see if he's available. He's on my time zone, so he should be awake still. It's only 10:55. Here it goes. Come on, pick up.
Hello.
Hola, buenas tardes, felicidades, ¿cómo estás?
Hey, ¿cómo andas?
Aquí, tranquilo. Mira, you're live right now. Are you busy?
No. Yeah, I thought we were going to be live today. You were having trouble earlier.
Oh, I was having like un montón de problemas con este pinche internet.
Yeah.
But mas, you know what? It's actually YouTube that's the problem, because I had a discussion with the guy there, and he's saying that a lot of people that do stuff on YouTube are calling us complaining about the internet, but it's not the internet.
Oh, so it's like the YouTube itself.
Yeah, they're doing something. I think they're trying to Like, because no one's getting notifications anymore that I'm live?
Yeah.
And that's a problem.
Yeah, I was expecting that notification because I put I think it was it yesterday or the day before yesterday? I put that notification. I didn't see no notification pop up on my phone. So there's something going on with that.
Everybody's saying the same thing about the channel. So, okay, how many miles are you from Seattle? What, 10 miles?
Oh, no. I live all the way south of Seattle. I live in Tacoma.
Okay, but what's happening there? Do you know what's happening there? Can you tell us?
Oh, man, where do I begin? So there's like, well, get this. So, you know how it is, let's say with the looting, with the protesting, I work for a company that, basically in retail, because I repair all their, equipment and stuff.
Okay.
So one of the stores that I work at was hit by looters.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And it was just destroyed,
So what do these looters look like? Are they breathing heavily? Do they smell? Can you smell them? Do they shower? Can you smell them from a distance that you know they're coming because they haven't showered in 3 weeks? Like, what do you know? Like, what are you noticing?
They're young people. They're young. We're talking about maybe high schoolers.
Ooh.
And just young, like maybe early 20s and stuff. And but it's odd because it's and I'm all for protesting, for the rights and everything. But the problem was that you had these individuals that kind of hijack on the protesting. So you had the people that looted in Seattle were the same people that looted in Bellevue. And
so you think they're being bussed around?
Not bust around, but it's more like almost like a crime syndicate, And so they just basically just took advantage of the whole situation. They say, hey, we're gonna start breaking these, and we'll get the crowd all riled up, which is mob mentality. It's you see these the people that are breaking in, and it's like, then you have the people are like, maybe I should go in there and rob too, But that's what happened. I mean, they I don't know if you follow some of the news that where in Seattle, when I guess where the shopping district is, they started looting, Macy's. Well, it's not. I don't think Macy's is there anymore. Nordstrom, Old Navy, and it's just, it was. I was like, oh my God, and then I think it was like a couple of days, and it's like, Bellevue got hit. And their shopping district got hit also too. So
you're thinking there's a movement happening. There's movement happening within these people, and they could be being like bussed or trucked around. So you go into work to Seattle. You go to Seattle to go into work, right?
Yeah. Well, that week when it was happening, I was working in Bellevue, and when they told me, they say, don't go to Seattle. It's all. They usually give us a head of. Seattle's known to have a lot of protesters, and we usually, when there's stuff like that going on, they'll say, hey, don't
you mean
come to
protesters
work.
like now, like recently, or is it like all year round with like people would Save the Whales and all kinds of weird stuff?
Seattle gets a protest every year on May Day. May Day is very big in Seattle, so you have a whole bunch of whatever people that want to complain, protesting. They go through the streets and they do that. And over the years, they've been, where there's some of them that just want to start destroying stuff, loot, or they're destructive. They just you want to call those almost anarchy or whatever, the Antifa or anarchists, whatever it's called. Mm-hmm. And those people are the ones that destroy stuff. They don't steal. They just like to destroy, create chaos.
Destruindo.
Yes. and la tienda de nosotros, when I checked the damage, there was no destruction. It was just looted. Everything was like taken. This, of course, there was parts of some. It wasn't structural damage. That's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
So these were people that knew where they wanted to hit, stole the goods that they wanted, and and these are not, like I said, these are not protesters. They're just people that took advantage of the protesters, snuck in their ranks, and just started breaking stuff. And I mean, we had plywood on the windows. They broke through the plywood, they broke through the windows, they broke through the barrier. And when they got inside, they smashed through the glass that had the expensive stuff. They broke through a safe, which is a very heavy steel. So they had tools, of what they knew they wanted. And so that's what makes it more, where, like I said, it gives a bad name to protesters, which now you're seeing some protesters that are just being civil, I still don't agree the one that they just took over the Seattle
Chaz or whatever that thing is on the top of the hill. Okay, this is a big mamada. Okay, so now, okay, we got some good comments here in the comment section saying Ravi G is saying that this is like Occupy Wall Street on acid. At least they had a singular purpose in Occupy Wall Street, not this BS. Not this jazz BS. Then we got Sean Lieberman saying rioters rob Target. Target's response: donate millions to the BLM. Big corporations are on in this. And then we got Lower Roller Scratcher. Why a bunch of white people in Black Lives Matter? It doesn't make sense. And then we got that's not our so anyways, so I'm not making any sense of this. Like you said, when you had the riots back in 68 and 69, the ones in Detroit, you had the big riots when they sent in the military and this and that. They were rioting for cause, right? They were rioting for a purpose. They wanted, and then when you had all those, the flower power generation, and they were protesting to stop the Vietnam War and get out of these wars and stuff. What do these people want?
Well, see, look, in those riots, and there's 3 different type of riots, or those from what like you said, the ones in Detroit. Those riots were rage. Those riots, so people were being oppressed. And they were fighting. They were just hey, burn the whole motherfucking thing down.
But rioting, okay, they're protesting, but
it turns into rioting, basically.
Right, but do you think, like you said earlier, that a lot of these forces are being bussed in? So it's in one city, then the next city, then the next city. This is organized from behind.
No. When you mean busting, like people, so think about it. So when these protesters are like, hey, we're going to protest in Seattle. So everybody comes in. There's a lot of neighborhoods that you could basically take public transportation or rides, whatever, just to get to Seattle. Same thing with Bellevue. So you had mostly generally the population of that area. They're going to protest, which all in good cause. There were, Black Lives Matter, just, groups that were intentionally just to protest, to basically civil disobedience, basically. So, but the thing is, like I said, you have individuals that are exploiting the situation, which were, how do you call it? And I don't want to say how many there were, but it only takes maybe a dozen, or just like a crew knowing what they wanted. And we have cameras where it showed when they broke in that basically where they aimed for the expensive jewelry. They aimed at the expensive clothing, Gucci, because that's pretty much what they aimed. And then you see the rest of the people that hey, store's open. I'm going to take advantage of the situation and steal what I want,
Mm.
So, and this what happened in Seattle, and just in and then Bellevue, and the police was outnumbered. That's all I gotta say. They were outnumbered. They didn't thought they was gonna get. It got out of hand for them.
Are you seeing any police presence where you're at, like in these situations,
Oh,
or
yeah.
they're just gone?
Oh yeah, no. Well, now it has calmed down a lot. It has died down, but the first, like for Seattle, it was heavy police presence after the day. But in Bellevue also was a heavy police presence, just around the area, especially around like the shopping centers, because of course they got looted already, but they wanted to have some kind of police presence. They had the National Guard there too, They had them sleep over in that shopping district overnight.
Mm-hmm.
And that was only for a few days that they did that. But it's funny because I was talking to one of the loss prevention, and he has cameras, and you can't, he tells me, he's like, well, for a almost like about I want to say like 100 square. I want to say 80 square feet or whatever little area where the most expensive was. He said there were hundreds of people in that room looting all the expensive jewelry, everything. And it was just like, he goes, you couldn't see the floor. It was like a sea of people. It was, just chaos. But like I said, he was, from what we learned, is like, these were individuals, if not a crew. Like I said, we're thinking it's crime syndicate because they just basically hijacked the protesting. They just got in there and blended. Hey, and of course, like I said, the mob mentality. It's like, hey, yeah, this guy's busting, the store down with so-and-so, Old Navy or Nordstrom or what was it, Neiman's Marcus that they had also. And but those individuals knew what they wanted because they wanted to go in there, take what they wanted, and get out. And you just open the floodgates. People just go in there and it's like, well, I'm going to take some stuff too,
When do you think this thing's gonna end? Do you think is it slowing down? Do you think they're gonna find some sort of, because unfortunately we're in an election year. That's the problem. And when you're in an election year, it's gonna be like this every I have a feeling every election to next year. I don't know what's gonna happen with this election, but next year it's gonna be like almost like nothing.
I tell you right now, Trump is gonna win.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless, you hate him.
I don't hate Donald Trump. I'm just trying to figure out.
No. I'm saying like people, and generally that hate Trump. I don't see the Democrats have a actual. You
don't think Vegetable Joe is going to beat Donald Reagan?
Yeah, Donald Reagan. Yeah, it's gonna be Trump. So that's just the way it is because and for the benefit for him, he has made the economy stronger. Mm-hmm. Till now, everything is going down the toilet. My company, after this coronavirus and then this whole looting. Mm-hmm. From the protesters, or not protesters, but just all the looting and rioting and stuff. Our company is already slashing half of the workforce. It's coming from all the way from the top, all the way to the bottom. We're seeing people that have been with the company a long time. They're losing their jobs. People that are expendable losing their jobs. So I fall in the ground in the middle, which I'm kind of lucky, mm-hmm. So I'm still employed, but not many people that I know they're going to lose their jobs, which has happened already. They cut a whole bunch of managers, so the company, and we're going to see this whole economy downturn. It's going to last over a year, just the way I see it,
Yeah. I'm pretty. I don't know. I'm taken by this because there's just so much. Okay, let me ask you. Did you give someone $10 today?
Me?
Yeah.
No, not today.
Okay, well, déjame.
Someone has my name in there to give him out money.
Well, let me tell you a story. Tino. If you go to Zero Hedge, their first article, it's actually published on a lot of other mainstream media, that they're asking people on that Chaz Hill or Capitol Hill there for every white person to give a black person $10. It doesn't make any sense. It's an article. It's in the news. Like, I'm not making any sense of it.
Oh man, you know what? That Chaz Hill is so funny because it's like Wall Street. Like, well, they were trying to, I forgot how many weeks they were there. Mm-hmm. But it's almost the same thing. You have a whole bunch of weirdos. Mm-hmm. All these people were just a bunch of weirdos. They don't know what they're talking about. They're actually in the wrong place to protest that.
It's Ravi's calling it a fake grassroots movement.
It is.
Why aren't they protesting affordable housing in Seattle? Everything's so goddamn expensive. Why aren't they protesting? To ban foreign investing that's laundering money through your city and destroying affordability levels? All these beautiful penthouse, all these condos are all empty. A lot of properties in Seattle are empty. They're all foreign invested. Why aren't they protesting that? Why aren't they protesting the fentanyl and the synthetic marijuanas and all the crisis and the homelessness? Why aren't they protesting for that?
See, it's the type of people that live in Seattle are, they're, how do you call it? They're sheep, basically. They don't know who they think they're doing good for them is actually not, it's so expensive in Seattle. That's why I can't live in Seattle. It's a madhouse, mm-hmm. King County itself, Seattle's in King County.
That's right. Yes.
It's high taxes. Guess this, get this. So King County has whatever it's called, Puget Sound Transit. They ask so much money. They tax the for the registration card tabs, and now they're coming out saying, hey, since we had this pandemic happen and nobody's riding our buses and trains that much, which they're not. I passed a couple of buses. There's maybe one or two people in those buses when I'm going to work, or no one's riding that public transportation. So they're being hit, by money wise, and they're asking for more money for the taxpayers to bail them out. That's insane. It's like, we can't give you any more money. you know?
Wow.
And
the cities are going bankrupt because no one's paying into the infrastructure anymore.
No. I mean, there's going to be a lot of people losing their houses, after all said and done. Mm-hmm. And that's going to affect the government, just like it did to Detroit. See, I won't be surprised Seattle goes bankrupt. I mean, we got major companies there, Microsoft, Amazon, but man, they could just bail out whenever they want.
Yeah, they could bail out and they can move to like somewhere in the middle of nowhere and then start over. Not really start over, but just move to a different presence. They could start setting up right now in the middle of the Mojave Desert or somewhere. Right now, they could start setting up and pretty much move overnight, and no one would even see a blip in change in anything.
Oh yeah, you got Elon Musk. His company. He's done that. He moved some of his companies. Or not his company, but just his workforce out of nowhere, to get stuff done, and this is what the company's going to have to do. And it's just, like I said, 2 years, this is how it's going to be really down. We'll see how the city of Seattle handles it, with pressure. But it's going to be hard to change the people's mentality of, well, I'm not going to vote for Republican, so-and-so, or I'm only voting, a one person thinking one person party, which is not good. You have to be independent. You have to think of which party benefits, which party makes more sense, which person individual basically is gonna get the job done, you know.
Okay.
But yeah, man, no, it's been crazy. This whole we were seeing the light almost because they had the phases of phase. I forgot they have 4 phases here and we were going into phase 2, and that's when all the phase 2 was things were going to start open up. People were coming back to work. Which remainder people had still jobs. And. But that's when all the protesting happened, and then those protesting just turned ugly to riots, and then it just turned into looting. We had it was like a whole almost good week of people looting, and just not just the big stores, the small stores too,
Wow, the small mom and pop stores.
Yeah, man, that's the sad part right there. But that's just because, like I said, it just takes certain people to start breaking into stuff, and it's like, you know what? Instead of burning it, let's start looting it. Those people they're not there for the protesting. They're just there for being opportunists of stealing people. Stealing stuff. And I'll send you some pictures, man. I got some pictures.
Yeah, man, send some pictures. Just let us know what's going. We got you on the ground there. If you want to do a film, and you could always make me a film. You could always make a film for me, and you could always put it on Skype, and then it uploads in its full format too, eh?
Oh, really? Okay.
It does. You don't have to email. You don't have to do anything. Just put it in its full form in Skype, and I could download it on my end.
Okay.
Yeah,
I had to figure. Yeah, I like I said, I've been trying to mess around with the Skype, and I'm like, what? Still trying to understand it.
No, Skype is not that hard. Just drag stuff on. If you're on a desktop.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've been using it, but yeah, no, definitely. I'll send you some pictures, and but yeah, man, it's just everything has been, like I said, like chaotic. I got surgery in 2 weeks. And I had to ask my boss, like, well, if I take my surgery and I'm gonna be out for a good month, am I still going to have a job? It's like, that's the thing where I'm hesitant to go ahead and get it done, because I got fix my knee. And but yeah, that's the mentality. It's almost like Hunger Games, at the workplace, just everybody's trying to still employed,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the way. Yeah, I don't know. We're gonna see what happens with this. It's just wow. It's just man, they're dominating the headlines with stuff that, like, I understand. Like, I get what they're. But anyways,
yeah,
Tino,
no,
thanks so much.
There's no problem, man, and thank you for calling. Yeah, it's like I was thinking, it's like, man, I said. I haven't seen Martin, his show for a while, man. I've been so busy, dude. And I started watching you like a couple of days ago. I was like, yeah, man, I missed a lot.
You could always, if you want, you could always do replay. You could always watch stuff on replay if you'd like. So it's always on my channel. You have to physically find the channel because no one's getting any notifications at all, right? So
ya no te quieren, man. Es la cosa, ya no te quieren.
no me gustan. Esta gente no me gustan más. Yeah.
All right, man.
Órale, hermano. We'll talk later, okay?
All right, definitely. All right,
Hasta la vista. We'll see each other.
Adios.
All right, so that's Tino C, who is in from Seattle. I really wanted to get his word there in Seattle. Let's see if we could call Rex Cohan here. See if he picks up. Man. Rex Cohan is offline. All right. No more Rex Cohan. I hope he's okay. No dice. Looks like he's offline. All right, let's go next. So, thank God Tino was there. Thank God we got someone on the ground there. Whew. All right. So we got a couple of trolls. We got Mike Martin's toupee tonight. Then we got the homosexual banana in the house tonight that I hid from the channel. Just a lot of trolls in the house here. Just people, I guess they have they have nothing better to do than go out. They should go out and protest affordable housing levels, or better wages or something. Like protest something that's going to better all of humanity, right? All right, let's see if we got Craig. Let me see who else we got in the United States there and in the Northwest there. Who could come on for us in the Northwest there? Who is in the Northwest? We got Anthony in Detroit, but it's like 1 o'clock in the morning in Detroit. I'm not going to call him now. Yeah, the show got completely derailed tonight. Something's going on, man. And a lot of people are, it's not me. There's a lot of people. A lot of people are experiencing this problem on YouTube. I mean, man. Okay, we talked to Supreme. We talked to Tino. There's Liam. Summer Solstice. Let's give him a call. I think he's available. Let me see if Liam's available.
Hello.
Liam.
Hi, how are you?
Are you watching?
Yeah, I'm watching.
Okay, good. Because a lot of people don't know we're live anymore because we lost the connection. So we got the international we have the international connection line on right now with Liam. Where are you at again?
Southeast Asia.
Again, you're still there, right?
Yeah, stuck here.
You're stuck.
But not really stuck. I'm actually happy to be here, to be honest, because where would you rather be? In paradise in Southeast Asia or stuck in a Western world right now?
Yeah, with all the I see where you're saying. Okay, so you're still stuck there. Okay. All right, so we got you on the international lines here. So are you okay, buddy? You doing okay?
Yeah, I'm actually very thankful for my situation and I actually stayed here and I didn't actually jump on a jet and get back to the UK because I feel that how the governments have handled it in Southeast Asia has been a lot better than I feel than the West regarding COVID.
Yeah.
We've had 0 cases for the last, I think, over 2 weeks now. I think about 18 days. Mm-hmm. 0 transmissions, absolutely zilch. The only transmissions have been imported cases. But yeah, I don't know about the US, but I'm sure there's not 0 transmissions, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I've been watching the protest.
New Zealand is free and clear too.
Oh, really? How long do you know?
3 days, 4 days now. They've the last person in the hospital left and went home.
So one thing I've heard about opening the borders is that they're looking at doing something called travel bubbles, where they say, let's say there's a city, let's say, I don't know, just pick a random city. Let's say London. Okay. So let's say if London had 0 transmissions for 30 days or however long they choose, mm-hmm. they would say you can travel from London to the Philippines directly with no quarantine, no issues. It's just a bubble. Like you get on the airplane and you arrive in the Philippines.
Okay.
But I don't know how that's going to work because they're saying it could be cities. It doesn't have to be a whole country. It could just be a designated city. But you could travel from one city to another city, right? So I don't understand how they could control that. Let's say if you was from another city, say Manchester, and that had cases, but London didn't have any cases. I don't understand how they can do that. But that's what they're saying. They're saying it doesn't have to be a whole country that
it makes sense if it would be a whole country because you know that the whole country has been cleansed, right?
Yeah, that's why I'm kind of confused. They're literally saying it doesn't have to be a whole country. it could be safe cities,
Mhm.
which doesn't make sense because you could just travel from one city to another.
Interesting. Very interesting.
But how are you in Canada?
I'm fine. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm really fine. I'm having a lot of issues with YouTube recently. YouTube is doing a really good job, pretty much putting me undercover. Like I don't even exist anymore on YouTube. My videos they're really throttling back all my videos. If you watch all my Mike in the Nights, you'll see that they're all losing views from 3,000 average views on a video to like 800 and yeah.
Well, here's the proof. When was the last time I've been on your show? It's got to be 2 months or more, right?
Right.
And you know why? Because I've been receiving 0 notifications for over 2 months. And I was like, is he still doing videos? And I started searching yesterday. I was like, yeah, he's still doing videos. Why haven't I received anything? Why haven't you're not in my recommended feed? You're not in my subscriptions. I don't get notifications. Before I would just like go onto YouTube.com and I would see all your latest videos.
Mm-hmm.
Not even searching for you, just be recommended to me, right? Yeah, that's why I haven't been around for the last 2 months because I just, day-to-day life, it might sound bad, but I totally forgot about you.
Mm-hmm.
But you were still in the back of my mind, and I started searching you and see that you were live again.
So Anthony's saying, I think censorship on YouTube is only going to become more and more strict.
Well, look at the subject matter that you're showing, right? It's not exactly mainstream, is it?
Well, yeah, yeah. I guess.
I mean, it is mainstream, but it's not what the mainstream media want you to talk about, right?
Yeah. How many people could have a live show like this and get someone on Seattle on the ground that knows what's happening there?
Yeah, exactly.
I just got someone like that. I know a guy in Seattle right now. Let's give him a call. And he said the same thing you're saying.
Yeah, and not just Seattle, like before with the Hong Kong. I found you because of the Hong Kong protests, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that, I think, was he an English guy or banker or something?
Mm-hmm.
He was amazing, but you haven't spoke to him for a long time.
He fled Hong Kong, so I don't know where he is.
Oh, he's left Hong Kong now?
Oh, he fled a long time ago. It was getting out of control with the riots, and he couldn't get to work, and he was losing his contracts, and then things weren't looking good, and he pooped the scoop. Last I heard, he was cited in Japan and Tokyo, and that's it.
Well. But he's British, right? Isn't he from the UK?
Yeah, he's from the UK. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Last I heard was somebody said they saw him in Tokyo.
Well. But I hope he's safe and I hope he's doing well.
Oh, I hope so too.
So I don't know if you saw the message I sent you yesterday about the 21st of June. I don't know if you've heard much about that.
Tell us.
Oh, have you seen I'm sure you've seen
Solar
it.
eclipse occurring on the summer solstice may sound like a staggering coincidence, but that's not the case. The older of our alert readers may remember one took place in 2001, while our younger readers can look forward to the next 2 summer solstice solar eclipses in 2039 and 2058.
Yeah, so we have a historic solar eclipse on the same date as a summer solstice. And the last time it happened was in 2001. And we all know what happened in 2001, right?
Yes. Yes.
So just a date to watch out for. And
that's another censorship on the channel.
911.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that. Have you searched 911 recently on YouTube?
No, I actually haven't.
Go and have a search. You know why? You will not find one piece of footage of an airplane hitting. They've all been taken down.
Well, no, they can't, because what's going to happen is we're going to start dying off, and the future generations are going to be told that what happened, like a bunch of guys took this and crashed it into this, and then the future generations will believe that, and then America went and freed the Middle East and saved the world and saved Christmas.
Well, yeah, it's a sad situation. But really, I had to go through about 100 pages of search results before I got past all the mainstream channels, the CNNs and BBC and all those kind of things, right? The ones that they want you to see. But yeah, so have you seen that animation iPet Goat 2?
iPet Go 2? There's an animation for iPet Go 2?
I'm sure you know. I'm sure you've seen it.
Yes.
Obviously.
7 years ago with a ton of occult symbolism. I'm in touch with the maker of... You're in touch with the maker of iPet 2?
Yes,
iPet Goat?
Yes.
Interesting.
I have emails. I can show you the evidence. I
believe you. You don't have to prove anything. I believe you, dude. You saying it is enough. You know what I'm saying?
But regarding symbolism, that little animation was created 7 years ago, and 7 is a big number. But the whole animation pretty much goes along the lines of this solar eclipse. So I feel that something major is going to happen either on the 21st of June or the 4th of July. And we all know what the 4th of July is and what's going on in America right now.
I know. It's a movie. It's called Born on the 4th of July with Tom Cruise.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I don't have much to say, but I just want to say, yes, I'm another person that's not receiving your notifications. I've not been on for 2-3 months because I didn't even know you were still around. I thought you'd been banned or something. But it's good to see you still here, and I appreciate all your hard work.
Yeah, I appreciate you taking the time to come on. I'm always here. So like I don't know what time it is in your neck of the woods. I know it's like lunchtime there now.
Yeah, so right now it's 1:30 in the afternoon.
Right. So here's the deal. So if at this an hour before, not because it's a little bit later now because my stream kept going down. You basically just if on the back of your mind, if you could remember it, you'll know I'm here. I'm always here. I never miss a show, and if I do, I usually post something. But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, anyways, hey, I appreciate your support and information you've been giving us. I appreciate it. So, yeah, we'll talk soon. And if there's anything you need to tell us about what's happening in Southeast Asia, please let us know.
All right, man. Cool.
God bless.
Bye. Bye.
Alrighty then. Okay, so looks like we got someone trying to call into the show here. I got Tino sending me a ton of messages, photos here from what's happening on the ground there. I'm so let's see what Tino's got for us here. Tino. Oh, okay, he's sending us images that have never been seen before. So let's see what Tino's sending us here. Let's go up to article scan here and take a look at this. Oh, wow. Look at that Chanel store. Is it a Chanel? Is there such thing as a Chanel store, or is it just a makeup store? Wow, there's stuff all over. Oh, they got Craig calling in. Craig, what's up, buddy?
Hey, buddy, not much. Are you live?
Yeah, I'm live right now, buddy.
Oh, what's happening? I was just trends in the housing market.
No, I'm live right now.
Oh, yeah. Well, what's happening over here? It's not much. We're on level 1. We're all going back to work. The weather's been pretty miserable, but we're all just trying to get on with things, really. Yeah. It's not much else going on. We've had a few people trying to get on the race card, the bandwagon. I think Are you going
to give someone $10? Did you watch the beginning of the show?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, when you scroll back,
$10. What's this $10? What's that about?
Don't worry. I just don't want to create too much disturbance on the channel. If you go back to the beginning of the show, you'll see what I'm talking about. I don't want to bring it up too much because they might YouTube might flag and call it for racism.
Oh yeah, well we can't have people talking about the truth there, Mike.
Let me see if I can. Yeah, I'm just gonna go to the article. It's every mainstream. Like there's about 20 mainstream media that's covering it. Okay, here it is. the Republic of Chaz. So that's the Capitol Hill little part of Seattle that was taken over by these guys. Begins reparations.
Yeah.
White participants pressured to give blacks $10 each.
Oh, I see there. Now I see where you're going.
So I don't understand. Like, there's like all these weird, and then you got Twitter resonates Zero Hedge after admitting it made an error. So, like, is it making an error with everything? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't know, but I tell you what, like, just for me, you know, when you say that to me that smacks of, you know, they want everyone to be a victim. You know, I mean, yeah. I mean, look. If the game's stacked and you can't win and you're a victim and you've been done wrong, and you know we're the only ones who can save you. And if you know what I mean, right? So that's where they want people. They want people to be dependent on them. They want them to be, oh, it's not fair. You don't understand because you're white and I'm black.
Are you seeing? Are they talking about defunding the police in New Zealand, or that's not a? It's
No, that's not really an issue here. Although, on an interesting side note, we did have the police did try to roll out a like an armed police squad, but they stopped that.
Oh, really? Like militaristic police force?
Yeah, like you see, you know, Afghanistan's those big 4x4s, all kind of. You know, rigged up. Well, I don't know what you call them. You know, those Humvee things.
Oh.
But they stopped that, and I think that was political because we've got the election coming up, as you know. And talking about the election, they'll be pushing out the subsidies right up till the election date, so, which is clear politics, you know. But even though it's going to push the country's debt up.
So, are you experiencing the issue where you're not getting messages from or notifications when I go live?
Oh, a little bit, but not too much. I think it's because, you know, like I've said to you before, you know, in a lot of ways, New Zealand's, we're a bit done, you know. It's like, oh, well, who really cares? They're insignificant. But I think in the States, it's a bit more... you know, they have a bit more sway. But down in New Zealand, it's like, oh, well, they can't do anything down there anyway, so who really cares? But
I had a friend message me the other day saying, hey, Mike, things are getting pretty hectic here in Canada. I think I'm going to move to New Zealand. It should be cheaper there. And I'm like...
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, yeah, good luck with that.
Woo!
Yeah, you want to be a working slave and you want to know about it, come down here. It's, no, you can't escape it. I mean, the wages are low, cost of living's high. And unless you come with money, it's very hard. It can be quite depressing. Especially if you don't know what's really going on in the rest of the world. Like, you know, like with the show, it's helped me understand, well, no, it's not just New Zealand.
No, it's every English-speaking country is getting destroyed.
Yeah, it doesn't make it any easier, but it just kind of softens the blow of it. But, yeah, I'm still seeing those things on Facebook, like I told you about, cheap cars. Cars have fallen about $3 or $4 grand. So maybe 30-40% for a second-hand car.
Yeah, I picked up a Corvette for a decent price.
Yeah, I saw that. Nice car you got.
Yeah, it's a nice. It's old. It's a 2005, but I mean, if I maintain it, clean it, wax it, polish it, spit shine it, I could have a car I have a nice car to drive around till the day I die. I'm not worried.
Oh yeah, she's a beauty. And of course, the other thing here is we've had, you know, just about once a week, there's more companies laying people off, and big companies, retail. Building companies. Oh, actually, we have our biggest building company in New Zealand is in trouble.
Really, a construction company. But that's essential business. What are the Chinese investors going to buy? Well, you're not going to buy it, right? So what are they going to buy?
Yeah, no, I'm not going to buy it.
Well, I'm not saying it in a
But-
bad way. I'm just
oh,
saying,
no.
like, I mean, I don't think
Oh,
you're
no,
out of
no,
your
it's
mind to spend $1 million on something that's realistically worth like 300 grand.
Well, yeah, and the other thing, I was still at a really good friend of mine last night. Shout out to Chris there, who listens in from New Zealand.
Mm-hmm.
And the stress. What about the stress?
Mm-hmm.
You want to buy something for $1 million, like you said, it's worth 300. Die at 55 from a heart attack because you're working every hour you can. You're living on 2-minute noodles or ramen noodles.
2-minute noodles,
Cool.
yeah, baby,
You know,
2-minute noodles.
And it's Friday, so woohoo, Friday special. You get to have a sausage. It's your noodles.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I'm not kidding. I've been there. And of course, with our culture, Anglo-Saxon culture, we don't help each other. The family doesn't help.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the Chinese and that, they tend to help out a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
They help their kids. They say, "Oh, you need some money. Oh, you need a babysitter."
Mm-hmm.
But in the Anglo-Saxon world, no, that doesn't happen. So, well, look at that. We're dying out. We're not having babies.
Yeah, well, we're gonna be gone. We're gonna be gone.
So I don't know, but just trying to keep my head above water and keep positive. And we'll see what happens. But it doesn't help, like I told you, with this leader. And I am disappointed she cancelled all those projects.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's something that no one really talks about, but it's still there, and you can still see it in people's eyes. Bit of fear with the economy, like, well, what's going to happen? And
are you sparking up a J there?
no, it's a cigarette.
Oh,
no.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I don't do that stuff because I drive.
Oh, you're driving. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, no, I drive for a living, so you can't do that stuff because
Okay.
they'll take your license off you, lose your job. But yeah, so that's about all we got happening down in New Zealand, Mike. But
Yeah, keep an eye out for us. Just keep an eye. Let us know what's going on there. If there's any shiftiness, we need to know.
Oh yeah, definitely. We'll. Yeah, I'm all about out now.
Okay.
But oh yeah, the other thing was we're on level 1 now, so that's going back.
I heard the last patient left the hospital. There's a party on the streets and carnival, and that's all good.
Yeah, and they've had some sporting events open today, but it does really make me think. Like they say, oh, we're testing, but I've never been tested. No one I know has been tested, so I just think, well, I think it was a bit of a hoax, really. Like, what a load of crap!
It's garbage.
Yeah, it's garbage. It's made up because, like I said, there was no testing. There was no mandatory testing. Like, oh, okay, you have to check in and we have to test you. So the anecdotal evidence to me more suggests more that it was a hoax because of I mean, if you might test 100 people out of 10,000. Well, what does that prove? It doesn't prove anything.
Yeah, it doesn't prove squat.
Yeah, I mean, come on. And it's just I personally think it's just a sideshow from what's really going on, which is we all know the economy's falling over and Mr. Trump there, well, yeah, when he first got in, I thought he was quite intelligent, but he's proven otherwise.
Yeah, well, some topics he's been okay, and some topics he's been out to lunch, and some things, I don't know. It's just a seesaw. But you know what? Every politician that takes that seat, starts to realize the reality of things once they start seeing it, right?
Oh, yeah.
So.
Yeah, and no one's, I mean, you'll be the only one, Mike. There's a few people on the internet, but, down here, there's not a lot of people talking about the debt, the debt, and that's a problem.
Oh, it's a major issue. This is huge, because when the Decepticons come to collect that money, we're screwed.
The Decepticons?
Yeah, the world debt's like trillions of dollars. And when the Decepticons come and say, we want our money now, what are we going to do as a world?
Well, the magic unicorn on the moon eating cheese told me, and Lord Humongous, that it's all going to be all right. Because our leader said so. It's all going to be all right. Don't panic. Just have a drink. Fit the iceberg.
Nobody
Don't panic. All right.
All right. Thanks so much. I'm going to let you go, and I'm going to see if I can get Layla on, okay?
I will. Yeah, I thought you'd finished. No, that was very good.
Thank you so
I'll
much.
put the live on now. Listen. No, you're welcome. Thanks, Mike. Bye-bye.
God bless. Bye. All right. We got Layla here trying to get through here. Okay, we need Sean.
Hi, Mike.
Hey, how's it going, Layla?
It's good. How are you?
I'm doing phenomenal.
What is going on?
Oh, I hear myself talking in the background.
Yeah, I switched off the speaker.
Okay, good. Okay, I need Anthony and Sean Liemerman to both carpool and come and visit me in Merritt one Saturday when I'm working, because they're only like an hour and 20 minutes, an hour and a half, 2 hours to be realistic from me. Maybe they should come up and visit me together. So Anthony and Sean Liemerman, if you guys want to actually carpool up to Merritt and come up and see me, you guys know where to find me at my shop, right? So anyways, hey, Layla, I was going to say something earlier in the show, but I forgot. You know that somebody came to visit me today from Romania?
Okay.
Yeah, some lady came to visit me from Romania. She watches my show, and she brought her son, and she came in, and very heavy accent, and she told me that she's been watching me for like about 4 years now.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is nice.
Yeah. So she's stuck in Whistler. Whistler, British Columbia, where the ski resort is. So she's been stuck there for a while until flights reopen so she could go back to Romania.
Oh, man. That must be expensive.
No, she's fine. She looks very, let's say, well-to-do, doing well for herself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good thing. One thing we're grateful for is that we got stuck in Syria, because it's much more affordable for us with the dollar than other places like Lebanon or maybe Canada. That would have been hard.
Okay, so I was watching your comments earlier. You're saying that the in the city of Toronto, Ontario, Canada, that there is some sort of defunding of the police.
Yeah. I watched an interview with John Tory. It's I think Steve Balkin. I think that's his name. It had the logo of the show is that red A. Mike, he's an okay a show that he has for himself there, and he talks about important questions sometimes, but you can't comment on any of the videos, It's all like very like it's the hygiene and the political correctness and all of that. But he had a recent interview with John Tory and talking about the COVID in Toronto, and they went through briefly a breakdown of how the budget is going to be cut. There's a few numbers on there. You might want to tune into that show. I can send you the link. But the one that stuck with me was the $30 million for the police, which translates, if I understood correctly, if I remember well, it's going to remove 500 police officers from the front, what are they called? The front line of the police. So at least that. I just felt that they were timing this with this whole Black Lives Matter thing. And of course, they talked about how, some of the money can be redirected in better ways, like different kinds of support. But actually, I find that pretty scary, because I'm pretty sure that it's going to all come out at the expense of women, because domestic violence and other situations where women are the most vulnerable are probably going to be affected by this. And it always ends up to be the case that, anytime you reduce security in these ways, it's women who pay the price. And obviously, Toronto doesn't care all that much about women. But there were other numbers on there as well. There was a 70 million that I forget what it was for. But one thing that he said that I thought was important, John Tory, was that if they weren't going to do these cuts across these different categories, they would have to do a 40% increase in property tax. So I thought that was pretty bad.
So they're going to lower property taxes.
No, they're not. They're going to keep them as they are, as far as I well, they didn't say, to be honest, but I'm assuming that they wouldn't, if they didn't have to make these cuts across the different budget categories, they would need to do a 40% raise in the property tax. It was just a way for John Tory to say how much they need to cut and what the consequences of not cutting would be, right? But I think that they're going to increase property taxes anyway, Mike. I think that's on the rise regardless, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, they have to because they have to because these cities are losing a lot of funding. Again, a lot of the people I spoke to someone the other day from the area I used to live in Toronto, and they told me that it's a complete ghost town. There's so
Which one?
many.
You were on St. Clair West, weren't you, Mike?
I was on Dufferin and St. Clair.
Dufferin and St. Clair. Yep. It's the St. Clair West area.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see which area that is.
And basically,
it's a ghost town right now.
And it's turning into like there's just not a lot of like he's telling me on his block there's like 3 people living on the entire block that he sees regularly put up the garbage and stuff. Everything has like Christmas ornaments from 5 years ago. Everything's all like come like a shut down town. Like some streets. He can't believe it. Like he can't. And what he notices, what is really weird, is there's all these cars parked on the street, but nobody lives on it.
That is scary. So where are all these people gone? Where do you think all of these people? Does he know?
He says a lot of them went to small towns. Like a lot of them, like a lot of people he knows, like went to Cayuga, like outside of London, Ontario, to like Leamington. Like these, like me. Like when I moved to Merritt, people were like, "Why would you move to like?" When they look at the map, they're like, "Why would you move there?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I gotta move here. This is where I gotta be." You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so they're moving to towns like Merritt basically, but in Ontario, like different towns and different areas and different towns you never heard of on the map are now becoming a thing, right?
Right.
But he's telling me the mass exodus, it's happening in Sydney, Australia. I got a lot of reports from Sydney and articles I've read where there's a huge mass exodus of people leaving Sydney and Melbourne, and there's a huge mass exodus of people. Obviously leaving Seattle, Oregon, and Washington State because they just Washington State, Oregon, and California in huge numbers because the cost of living is just unreachable, right?
Yeah,
so
for sure.
It's really weird. And then our only 3 major cities in Canada are losing all its population, and they're moving to not the secondary, third cities, the tri-cities. They're moving like into like you know what I mean, like.
Mm-hmm.
No, so that's becoming a huge issue. So now what's happening is a lot of this infrastructure isn't being funded anymore by taxpayers that live there.
Right.
So they're seeing this shortage, so they're going to have to keep raising property taxes.
Oh gosh, this is gonna turn into a nightmare. You know, I was watching, you know, those people who do videos of them walking down the street and things like that.
I've done a few of those, yeah. Like long time ago, though.
Right. So I was watching some around Toronto of this guy who seems to just be focused on Toronto and just getting a sense of what it looks like now because he's doing them now. And the social distancing and the queues and things like that around the downtown. And I really feel, Mike, that it's just going to become a much worse city to live in than it was before. Mm-hmm. Things were hard enough to do in Toronto. Things are slow. Transit is slow. It's expensive. It can be busy, especially when you have a weak transit system. You feel the density when actually Toronto is not as dense as other cities like New York and Paris and so on. But you feel that it's just going to become crappy. And now with the social distancing and the queues, things are just going to take a lot more time to live in. Service is going to go down. Maintenance is going to go down. It just sounds like a drop in the standard of living, honestly. Mm-hmm. It was not easy before. Like I could tell you, it was just a hassle to do things around that city. Just a hassle. Like you have to go to several stores to get your stuff, not only to save thousands of dollars, because you know how they mess with the pricing. Like they'll raise this product in this store, but decrease it in the other store and do that with other products. So, so if you're careful, like if you price match and do these things like I do, you end up going to several stores. So it's not only to save the money, but it's actually also to get your stuff. Like there's a lot of stuff that's not in the supermarket, that's in the dollar store, and things like that. Mm-hmm. So it's just a hassle to get around and do this. And now I just feel it's going to get so much worse. And landlords are not making income, so they're not going to be inclined to maintain as much as before. I don't know. The whole thing is just a death spiral, which is what liberals are excellent at doing, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just, yeah. It
We got
sounds
a
like
little
it's
crowd
gonna.
watching us tonight. 72 of us.
I know.
My
I know.
live
I
stream
was up
kept
this
going
morning.
down. When the first stream, I had 165 people watching in the first 10 minutes.
I saw Mike. I was up, like I don't catch you right when you start. It's a bit too early for me, but I was up within the half hour, and I saw that you were having all of these issues, and I didn't think, and I kept tracking, and then it was, you did 3 tries, I think, and I just thought that you might not make it,
Yeah.
but
The internet company was telling me basically that they're getting a lot of calls because people are trying to stream on YouTube and they think it's the internet and it's actually YouTube that's the problem. So they're wasting all these technicians' time looking at the internet when it's not the problem.
Yeah. It might not necessarily be a censorship issue. It could just be that they have this maintenance window for Sunday morning when few people are watching to maybe do something with their software. Not necessarily censorship, Mike.
But
of course, I'm
everyone's telling me
not
the
giving
same thing.
YouTube
They're
any
not
credit.
getting notifications.
Yeah, I don't know why that is. I get your notifications. You have the option to switch off the notifications. And the thing is, if you switch off notifications for one channel, you might switch them off for all of them, especially on your phone, I think. So you might want to check if maybe you've turned off notifications thinking that you were doing it for one channel. Maybe you end up doing it for all of them if you were working on your phone. So it's worth checking, but I'm not sure. I've been getting your notifications.
Good. That's good. At least somebody out there, because you're here, right? So I notice you a lot. But a lot of people, like the last guy that was on, was saying, I never get your notifications for months, and I have you, and I have, thinking of you. Same thing, Lil Rose Scratcher. I don't see Mike Martin in live stream in my feed. There's a lot of people, when they go live, okay, I see them all the time, and I don't even have the bell checked for notifications.
Right, so you need to have the bell checked.
No, but I don't have the bell checked on a lot of channels, and they keep showing that they're live.
Yeah, and also the feed might not be the source. Like you need the notification is like a notification, as though you're getting a message or something. The feed might just be it might be tuned to what you watch the most, because it's supposed to be a smart system that tracks what you care to watch the most. So it will just prioritize that, so it might not show up. I think.
Now, let me ask you this. I was actually thinking about this, and it dawned on me the other day. When I lived in America, I noticed something different. And it's a good different. It was a good different in comparison to living in Canada. When I lived in America, everyone I would talk to, and I'd ask them, hey, where are you from? What's your background? Oh, I'm American. I'm like, oh, okay. But you speak Spanish. Oh, yeah, I'm from Venezuela. I was born there, but I'm an American, right? Everyone I spoke to in America would always say, I'm like, they're from Puerto Rico. I'm an American. They're from Russia. They're Americans. Like, I'm an American, right? But in Canada, Layla, what I notice is when I meet people, they're like, oh, I'm Dutch, or I'm Portuguese. I'm German. Down in America, you would have an Arabic guy saying, oh, I'm an American, right? I would say, and that's good, because do you know what I mean, Layla? Like,
I do, Mike. I think it's good, but I also don't think it's bad to say where you're originally from.
I don't think they're thinking it's bad. I don't think that.
Right.
I think everyone's like, I'm American and I'm proud and I believe in the system and the Constitution, all that stuff, and that's good. But why in Canada is it when you meet somebody, they're like, oh, I'm Dutch, or I'm German, or I'm like, no one says I'm a Canadian. Like, I don't get that here in Canada. I noticed that when I went to America,
Mike,
everybody's
I think
American.
It's hard.
Huh?
It's hard to integrate into Canada.
Yeah.
I found it hard. I don't think Canada is warm in that sense. Certainly not where I was. Toronto is a really cold city.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think it's I don't think it's easy to integrate into Canada. It's I don't know. It's not a warm place. Not just not literally, but it's not it's not welcoming, I guess you can say. It's pretty It's a very procedural-based society.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's all about rules and procedures and people waiting in line and all of that. And I don't think there is enough people to create melting pots. Not that they're always successful. And I think people are very standoffish in Canada.
I noticed that, when I'm trying to make a lane change to get in the lane, the person to my right or left that I'm trying to get into makes it a mission to make it impossible for me to get in that lane.
Yeah, they will never make eye contact with you, right? Like they just know that you're trying to do it. They'll never turn or have try to have like a human interaction, right?
They wouldn't slow
Just
down and let
see
you
what-
in, or they speed up next to you so you can't get in. And then in the States, I put my signal on. It's like, oh, damn, no one's going to let me in. Oh, whoa, well, this guy's slowing down for me,
Yeah, they're not. Yeah, I feel that Canadians are really petty in these ways. Honestly, like they're really into their space and their little, I don't know, they're not into. I don't know. They're standoffish. They're standoffish, and they're cold, and it just I don't know. I felt it in general. It's a pretty unwelcoming place, and I think a lot of people have issues there. So people tend to guard themselves a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. There's many. Maybe it's just the city. I can't really tell. I think some people are happy in other communities, but Toronto is like that. Toronto is very snobbish, standoffish place.
Mm-hmm.
And I wish it was for any good reason. There's really very little there that deserves snobbery.
We got Eamon in the comments saying, I am Canadian. My grandfather came from Punjab in the mid-1960s. He found integration cold. He had to take a lunch breaks outside the lunchroom. Staff did not talk to him at the sawmill, but he made it.
Yeah. I'm sure people made it better. I know that in the 80s and the 90s, people were doing much better in Canada. I think it's the later generations that took a bad hit, because that's when you started to feel all of the pressures of this economy not working. And then, of course, the whole agendas and, the United Nations and all of that creating this welfare state, that I think a lot of Canada is, right? So it makes it hard for people to to make ends meet. It's just a really stressful, honestly, it's a stressful environment. Like I felt that I had very little elbow room to do anything in life.
Mm-hmm.
You just can't enjoy life. You work a lot, and it depends what, if you want to save money, you have to cancel pretty much everything in Toronto.
Yeah,
I'm
you
pretty
gotta go on 2-minute noodles like that guy said.
Yeah, well, yeah, I tried not to do that, but I think it's the case, where there's very little room to sit back and feel like you have space to enjoy life. It's really just about chasing the dollar, basically.
When I lived in Vancouver, Layla, everywhere I would go, I would have to literally apologize to people for being there.
Why?
It's so bad. When I lived in Vancouver, it was so bad. Everybody was just like, I'd get on an elevator and everybody would look at me like, what a waste of time stopping the elevator to have you on. It's like, I would just like literally, I'm sorry for being here, guys. I'm sorry for existing. It's like, it's
don't
terrible.
apologize.
It's so bad, huh?
Don't do the Canadian thing of apologizing left, right, and center for needless reasons. And I think that's actually such a facade of politeness when actually
I'm not being polite. I'm just being like
indifferent.
Being a big penis when I say that. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry for being here, guys. Sorry for ruining your day.
I hear
God
you.
bless.
I know, but you know what? I really feel you when. What is that attitude that you're picking up when you're in a space, and that's what I mean. They're very standoffish. They're really petty about their space. I don't know. I feel they're easily threatened, by anything. I don't know. A lot of the city life anyway. It's like, do you deserve to be in Toronto? Like my friends, Toronto is nothing. Okay, go travel the world and see cities.
And actually see real cities.
Yes, exactly. So there's a lot of that. And I lived in near the Yorkville area.
Mm-hmm.
So I would spend a lot of time there because I just walk in my neighborhood. I didn't go places. And you can imagine the attitude there.
Like Yorkville's like the fake Beverly Hills, right?
Absolutely. They're all in debt. Okay. No one
has money there. Nobody has money.
No one
they're
has
trying
money.
to rent out
Exactly.
garages for $800 a month.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's exactly what it is. And yeah, no, I hear you. So this whole atmosphere, it's not friendly. It's not friendly, and I feel that a lot of people easily leave Canada. Canada has a huge brain drain, and they have a very high immigrant turnover rate, and there's a reason for that.
Hmm.
I think now I think it's financial more than anything right now, but there are many factors that affect the quality of life in Canada. I think it's hard to integrate. I think people are unfriendly. No, I do not think Canadians are polite. I think some Canadians are polite. No, they're not vulgar like Americans. Okay, Canadians are not like that. Agreed. But I don't think they're friendly, and I don't think they're they're kind. I don't think they make room for people. Um, it's just it's frustrating. Like almost in any third world country, because people need money. They will do so much to please you. You know, People go to great like here, for example. It's amazing what people are willing to do to make you happy, so that you're happy with their service or their product. And it's not perfect, like a lot of things are not like what they are in the West, but they'll do everything they can with what they have. You know what I mean? And I feel that's just an attitude of gratitude. Um, being appreciative of your customer, being humble to realize that you need them to live. In Canada, I never felt that. I felt that they really don't care about the customer. It's all about making people on the job happy.
Hmm.
Um, the service is really awful and indifferent, and no sense of urgency whatsoever towards time or the customer or the needs of the customer. They will nickel and dime you for nothing.
Hmm.
It's not like the product is great. I feel they're really stingy with time and resources. So it's just like, trying to get things done is like pulling teeth sometimes. And I think it's really going to get worse now with what's going on. So
Hmm.
something I'm trying to track, but I'm not able to find resources. Like I read somewhere that the price of tomatoes went up 42%. Is that true? Is
The
that
price of
possible?
everything went up a lot. I went grocery shopping and I was looking at like a box of cereal for like $8.50, and a bottle of ketchup I think was on sale for like I think it's $7.50 or $8, right? So
Wow.
yeah, everything like I was, and that's a Walmart. I was looking at the groceries. I'm like looking at the prices, like but Walmart's a very, very smart strategy. Go in, lower the price, put everyone else out of business, and then adjust the price accordingly. That's a good business plan. Shut everybody
Yeah.
down, and then go
Yeah.
ahead and adjust your price if they want to drive another 50 miles out of town to get something else for cheaper.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's colonialism.
That's why you got Merit Toys and Games. And I get so many people visiting me from the channel,
Yeah.
people coming in. It's like, yeah, man, it's the place and stuff,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
But
unfortunately, I think a lot of small businesses um, are going to be done for in Toronto. Like I don't know if you caught it, but there was this woman who pulled off a really emotional, dramatic rant on YouTube about
mhm.
why small businesses are not able to open. I think she has this salon for ladies or something like that, and she was just, she, and it's fair, to be honest. What are all of these people gonna do? They've been building this their whole lives, um, and then it's not just then shutting down the business. That's half the story. Now, after they shut down the business, what do they do? Another thing that popped up in the news, Mike, that was pretty freaky. They were saying that if they pulled CERB to 2021, it would cost them $57 trillion. So you see how the headline is tricky, right? They're trying to draw your attention to the $57 trillion of how expensive that's going to be. But what about the 2021? Who the hell said that they're thinking of pulling all of this into 2021? That would be a disaster.
Well, that's going to obviously deflate the currency. People's savings will go to squander to nothing. And in Canada, no one's going to loot. Well, no. Well, I mean, I'm not going to say no one's going to loot, but no one's going to take the side of actually fixing the problem. They're going to be all confused, like they are in the States. In the States, at that stupid rally they're having in Seattle, they're telling people to give $10 to a black person.
Yes, I saw.
So,
Who
like,
said that?
I'm not
You just said
understanding.
that.
Like
You just said- yeah.
that's not going to solve any problems, right? So, I'm not making any sense of this, and I don't know what to say.
Well, we're not gonna assume, Mike, that Black Lives Matter are trying to start an economy in Chaz. Okay,
Mhm.
that's not what these people are after. These are not problem solvers and economic thinkers and things like that. They're just they're a paid mob.
Well, we had
There
Tino
to
from
create
Seattle on the
chaos.
show. Did you hear him?
I did not. I jumped on just
Oh,
now when I caught that you were live. But yeah, I will go back and I always go back and watch the videos when I miss them.
okay,
What did he
okay.
say? What did he say though? If
He
you would
was there.
briefly.
When you get a chance, uh, when you get a chance, go ahead and check out the earlier. He was just talking about him going to work in Seattle and having to, check the cameras on some of the broken buildings and blah blah blah. Just check it out later after the show and go back a little bit and see. I was on the phone with him for like
Okay.
half an hour, so he had a lot of insight on what's happening there on the ground.
And that sounds like a nightmare. And can you imagine those businesses who are locked out of Chaz now?
Oh,
What the hell? Who's going to pay for that? It's a disaster. And no one's doing anything about it. Like you would have thought that if Trump were serious about um, deploying the military, you would have seen it here, right?
mm-hmm.
So what? You're going to have a uh, mobster mob go and seize the city hall. So that doesn't deserve the military or the National Guard. So what does? I just really think that they're allowing this to escalate. And
Mm-hmm.
something else around Chaz is that people are just really going with the narrative that it's an independent state. Even Tucker Carlson pulled off that, oh, it's a new country. Who said it's a new country? It's like, why are you saying, even if they criticize it, they're still like dropping the idea that it's a new country. So
Mm-hmm.
why would you want to drop that idea if you're against it when it's not even there? They've just been there 2 days and now it's a country. And, the media is like pushing this narrative that this is an autonomous zone and they're taking it seriously as an autonomous zone. It's not. It's a place in Seattle that's been hijacked by a bunch of mobsters who need to end up in jail.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that's how it should be talked about, but that's not how it's being talked about. And then, what's interesting, Mike, is that you want to remember that Amazon is headquartered in Seattle, right?
Right.
So it made me wonder if they're going to start testing out surveillance and control without a police force. Because Amazon has all sorts of locations where, there's cashless stores, no counters, you walk in and you walk out. How is that done? So they're testing all sorts of technologies. And I was just wondering if they might be testing surveillance and control, law and order that is not done by people, but it's done by, surveillance
Mm-hmm.
technologies. Who knows? It's possible. If I can think of it, they can.
If we knew, I think we only know, like, I think I could arguably say as a collective group here, all of us here, I think I would think maybe we know about 8% of what's happening around the world, maybe 5 if we're lucky. There's just so
Mhm.
much underlying things that are happening that we're never going to know is happening. And I think some of it is good that we don't know because we'd be so disheartened. Like we'd be so ripped off. We feel so ripped off if that makes any sense,
I totally, Mike. We're never going to know everything that's going on, especially at the same time, because the way parts of the projects are timed is something that's designed to confuse people. Like they'll take your attention to something, take it away from something else. And I think to some degree, there is a level of global coordination with some events, but what we can do, we must do.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm always tracking. I try to understand. I try to track what would my life be like if I went back to Toronto right now.
Mm-hmm.
What would it be like to live my day-to-day life? How much would I spend on groceries?
Mm-hmm.
What are people like? Are they even more
Well,
unfriendly
the
than they
price of
were
food has gone
before?
up actually quite a bit. Like the price of fish has gone up, the price of meat skyrocketed. It's like you go grocery shopping. It's like your money's not getting you anything. Money's squandering. Like people are having I think 2021 is going to be. They're going to start making YouTube videos on how to process and eat cardboard
Mm-hmm.
because it's going to get so bad.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I'm just scared about the price of food. Like you don't get much for $100 now. You get something for 200, and if you have a family of 3 or 4 or 5, you need at least $400 or $500 a week to eat.
Yeah. So, Mike, do you think in your small town it's more expensive because delivering
No, that logistic thing
products
is not true. I order
it's
stuff
not
from my
true?
store. Like, let's say you come in my store, let's say before let's say 1 p.m. and let's say you're looking for a specific board game, I could actually have it for the next day.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a board game. So, yeah, the food
So
logistically,
it's
no,
not
the
more.
food's
So it's
moving all
not
the
more
time.
expensive. It's not more expensive to service these smaller
No,
communities.
because I sell my
It's not.
board games for like 40% cheaper than Amazon. So,
Because they were also saying that services like, well, I know for sure about telecom that the more away from a core or a city center communities are, the more expensive it is to deliver internet.
mhm.
Because you have to build cable across longer distances, and there isn't enough population often to justify the business case.
Right.
So to justify the business case, they have to jack up the prices. So I think someone at some point on your show in the comments was saying that in the north of Canada,
Hmm.
they have really bad internet and it's really expensive. And that's probably true because the north of Canada is not densely populated, and so services are not up to par. So that's one place where services are definitely going to be more expensive because it's just harder to get to, and there
But you
isn't
know
enough
what?
people to justify.
On a business point of view, those are the places you want to start servicing because everyone's moving to those places, right?
Well, right. So they'll end up being a core. So yeah, so gradually the business case spirals up,
Hmm.
and then in time there is enough justification for it. The same applies for water and electricity.
Hmm.
I think you were saying the other day that you get really expensive bills. I think that's probably a reason. I think they're trying to steal. I'm not saying they're, anything, but there is that issue. And that's also an issue in Canada in general. If you're
Hmm.
not going to be, because Canada is not as densely populated as other countries, and it's very big, and so people are all over the place, and there aren't many of them. So it's quite tough to deliver services profitably in Canada,
Hmm.
especially the heavier services.
We also don't
But
have the
price of food
proper
is the
infrastructure
food
too.
supply.
Like we don't have highways like all over the crisscrossing across
But
the
that's
U.S.
but that's the reason. That's the reason why. Because it's a bit like a cable. You need to build something physical. You build roads and stuff. There isn't enough of a justification cost-wise to spend all of that time and money and resources on building these highways.
Hmm.
It's not worth it, in other words, basically. But the price of food, I think, might be tied to what Raven keeps talking about, the food supply and how they're
Oh, we're
um
gonna definitely see a huge shortage in 2021 in food, but it's all gonna be like I don't know how to say it. It's all gonna be like storied propagandized out in a way, and everyone's following it, and oh my god, what do we do for food? They're gonna see people rush into supermarkets, and that's how it starts, and they're gonna go, oh, this and that, and then they're gonna start creating that to get to that level. You know what I'm trying to say?
yeah, yeah. And that's something that I think about because I don't know, if I don't have a contract right now, but supposing I get one back, I wonder, will it actually be worth living there? What will I make?
Hmm.
There's probably going to be cuts on the contracts because I'm a contractor. I'm not a full-timer. So my colleagues who are currently employed, they took a 10% cut,
Hmm.
the contractors. And on top of that, the rents went up from the time that I started my life in Toronto. So they've gone up about, you can say 25%. Like I got a really good deal where I was living. I found something, I found a gem basically, and I stuck with it for 6 years. And in the meantime, the prices kept going up. So when I left, prices were higher. Rent was much higher.
Hmm.
So there's that. Decreased income, increased the price of food,
Well,
probably an increase
your
in
income will
taxes,
decrease even further because the price of food went up, right? You can't go without eating.
right?
That's the problem.
That's the problem. And also, I'm suspecting there's going to be a major tax hike.
Oh, the COVID tax, of course.
So other than that, I think it's just the recovery of all of this CERB spend and it probably has spillover effects as well. It's not just the CERB cost, but there's probably other negative costs that were affected by CERB. I'm pretty sure. They're just not, I mean, they suck at numbers. You saw that. You put up that clip of Pierre Poilievre trying to ask Bill Morneau what the numbers are. They can never give the numbers.
I know, it's almost like
So-
they're wasting their time. They're wasting taxpayers' money and people's time there. It's
Yeah.
like, what's the point of having those meetings if no one's going to answer anybody's questions?
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. They're total frauds. But it's just that I was, because we were saying, well, what do you do? What do you do? And like you always ask, maybe people who have an immigrant background or who just recently arrived to Canada, they might still have other options elsewhere in the world. What does the Canadian proper do? Where do they go? They're not going to.
We talked
right
about
now.
that. Who's going to take in the Canadian? Like, if something happens in Canada, who's going to take the men? America will take all our talent and knowledgeable, educated, all the people. They'll take those, and then you can't go to Mexico. You can't go anywhere else. There's no countries that you could go to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's a big question. I don't know. It'd be nice to hear what Sean was saying. He's moving out of Richmond. It'd be nice if you can get him on the call, Mike. Like, what is he doing? Because it seems that British Columbia is becoming a lot more like California now, where you're having, we've talked about it before. They're trying to, the whole housing and the extreme liberalism seems to be focused.
In Richmond, when I went to Richmond, there was some signs, like street signs and other stuff, like in signs on buildings and stuff. None of it's in English.
It's in what? In Chinese?
In Chinese. Everything's in Chinese.
Okay, so it's like China, a much bigger Chinatown type of thing.
Oh, yeah. Richmond is China. Is like considered like an autonomous region of China because of the amount. It's heavily densely populated, and it's a suburb of Vancouver, right? So,
right.
Like, lots of parts. Like the whole Lower Mainland is very, very dominated by Chinese presence.
Yeah, I don't know firsthand. I'm not familiar with most of Canada. I've barely been around.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's clearly that's an issue. So I don't know what's going to happen, but I think it's clear. So we were saying, Mike, that we only know 5% of what's going on, right?
Mm-hmm.
We don't need to know 100% of what's going on in the world, but I think we do need to know what we're going to do if things get really bad, where it becomes truly unlivable, not just because you have hipster mobs crashing buildings all over the place, but really because the numbers don't tally. Like, you're going to make an income, you're going to be taxed on this income, you're going to live in a place that is semi-civilized, and you're still not going to make a positive bottom line. Like, so basically, if a person is a business, it's basically bankruptcy. Mm-hmm. It's not a profitable business. What does a non-profitable business do? It shuts down. Mm-hmm. What do people do?
Well, they don't. They move.
Exactly. That's why I think you should have plan B, C, and D.
And
Sean was saying that he's
where do
moving.
Canadians go for the longest time? Me, I just go to the Azores. I don't care. I'm in the middle of nowhere, and I have ties there.
The Azores are really expensive, Mike, though.
But I have land there and stuff already. Like I'm already like.
You do?
Huh?
Oh, wow. So you're not going to build a nice retreat for all of us to come, Mike, and have us
the Mike Martin's clan.
Oh, that would be fabulous.
In the Azores, in the middle of nowhere, on a spit of sparkly islands in the middle of the Atlantic. There.
Are you kidding? These are some of the most beautiful places in the world.
Oh, it's amazing. I call them little spits of islands because they're little.
I'll pay you rent on that land, Mike. I'll put up a tent. You don't need to build anything.
Yeah, and the Azores, our major export is like little bananas, like those little bananas, and tobacco, and all kinds of stuff like that.
That's nice. Oh, that's great. That's a blessing. So you have a plan.
Yeah.
But like I was saying, Mike, people with an immigrant background, they tend to have alternatives. Maybe not all of them, but many of them do. Mm-hmm. What do the Canadian propers do? What do these people do? What does the white Canadian worker do? Not the wealthy people who are living off the Chinese investments, but the people who actually do the work in Canada. Where do these people go? That's a problem.
Debt Regret has sent me
And it's
$2
sad and unfair.
Australian, asking me, Mike, do you think gold is money? Gold could be money. Gold could be minted to money to lower the risk of gold is a true wealth.
Money.
It's real wealth.
Well, I was just thinking, gold
It's
is the
true
only
wealth.
thing that's money.
No one throws their
It's
gold
not that
out.
if gold can be money, gold is the only thing that can be money, Mike.
Yeah, it's been money for the last, I don't know, recorded 6,000-7,000 years that we know of. Gold is the best way because it's less risky investing in paper currency, right? And gold is the best hedge. Gold is the best hedge against paper money. Gold is the best hedge.
It does everything.
Inflation.
It's a hedge. It's a store of value. It's an industrial metal. It can be minted into money.
Mm-hmm.
It is everything, portable. What are those other characteristics that people talk about money?
Mm-hmm.
Fungible, all of that. It's all of them. It's the only thing that's money, actually. And that's, trying to play the game of inventing money out of thin air doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
So people should stop believing in magic and unicorns and realize that, money needs to be something tangible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, something real.
Yeah,
Not
something
these
real.
derivatives or IOUs.
unicorns.
Here you go. Here's your 10 ounces of gold. Here, this certificate of paper shows that you have 10 ounces of gold in our vault. And then they sell that same 10 ounces of gold to somebody else, and the same 10 ounces to somebody else. And that's fractional lending fiat paper.
It's nice that they have a word for it or a name for it, but actually it's fraud. This is what it is.
Oh,
this
if me and you try to pull something like this, we'd be sharing jail cells somewhere in San Quentin.
Yeah, exactly. No, they're criminals. The central banking system.
Yeah, because they glorify it as we're making the laws and we're doing right what the people need and what's right for the people. No, they're criminals. They're criminals in really bad managed, like really bad suits. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of them smell like breath mints.
Yeah, no, they're the most rotten people on the planet. The central banking cartel. They've created money to actually steal real money from people.
Mm-hmm.
So so that's what they do
with
housing.
They're propping up this fake economy to push down the real production.
Yeah. But, with the housing market cycle, I really don't think it's a natural cycle because of some interesting laws of economics that happen. I think what they do is they jack up the price of the houses and then people can't afford them. So the banks seize the property, and that's how they've taken, they've given you fake money through your mortgage to seize your asset. And that happens every time there's a market housing collapse. It's a drain. It's draining people's assets. So I'm not given to the idea that there are natural cycles. This is a game that we can design as humans. The game of money is something we can come up with. It's not like it grows on trees or anything like that. And you can design the cycle, and you can start doing stuff with the inflation rates and all the other factors, drive the prices up. People can't afford them, drain them. There's a crash, start over. So in the meantime, you would have reallocated all of these properties to a different group of people.
Yep, it's a vicious cycle, but this cycle is going to be a little bit different because majority of this property is no longer owned by us.
Well, that's what I mean.
And
they
now
design
things
it
are
in this
different.
way
It's going to
so
be real different.
Exactly. That's why I keep wondering, well, what is it looking like? So I'd love to hear from people who are actually on the ground in the cities in Toronto, Vancouver, like Sean, where he seems to be moving. So, it seems like people are starting to implement their plans. People who are reasonably smart and, willing to do the work.
Mm-hmm.
It might be time, right? It might be time for some serious action planning.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Okay, Layla, it's what time is it? Oh my God, it's 12:30 in the morning here. So I've been here 2.5 hours. I ended up getting a show off the ground. You just got to play with the algorithm. For me, I just got to keep playing with the algorithm to get this thing rolling. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I really think it must have been a maintenance window, Mike. It's unusual. We talk about a lot of controversial things on your show, and you tend to be able to pull off your stream. I think they oppress your views and they oppress your subscribers. That's pretty clear. But I don't know, you were able to stream all throughout, so it must have been maybe a maintenance window. And if your provider was saying that a lot of people called in, then there must have been something broader. Because I'm
No, they're
sure
saying over
not
the
everyone-
last couple of months they've been getting an increased amount of calls. And it's
Not
it's
just-
all
not
like
just that
I'm
sweet-
pretty sure if the internet company got a checklist ready. Okay, are you Roman Catholic? Yes. Are you white? Yes. Okay. Your internet's being held back. We know why. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah,
Or
absolutely.
not your internet,
Yeah,
but
I wouldn't surprise me at all. It
Yeah.
just doesn't surprise me at all. And I think people should realize that this is done. They just don't put it in these words, and they create all of these procedures and all of that stuff that hides what's actually going on.
Mm-hmm.
That's done in companies all the time. Yeah.
Guys, I'm gonna put a link in the there's a video that's being very heavily suppressed. It's called "Canada Needs More Chinese to Cure Its Economic Woes." And unfortunately, there's a very important message in this video, and it's not getting any views. It's very important because it actually discusses the amount of fraud of fake passports that were made and fraudulently bringing in people from China by the tens of hundreds of thousands. So I'm going to leave this link in here for you guys. And this is a mainstream media source that's actually writing this article. And it's saying the revive millionaire migration to cure Canada's economic woes. And yeah, it talks about Chinese dominant investor migration schemes across Canada, and it's been flushed down the toilet. Basically, this got no views, unfortunately, and I kind of wish this message gets out there. Layla?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I wanted to throw that out. So Layla, I'm gonna let you go. I'm falling asleep here. We'll talk soon, okay? I appreciate you coming on last second there. And
My pleasure, Mike.
Yeah. We'll talk again very soon. We got a small crowd tonight. When I lose that mainstream, the one that actually everyone sets their reminders to, I get nobody watching the show after once I lose that mainstream. So I think YouTube knows that, and then once I lose the mainstream and I can't get it working, then they go ahead and say, "Well, here you go. You can stream now to 63 people instead of 300." You see
I see what you're
that?
thinking.
I
Yeah,
lose
I see
that
what you're
main
thinking.
one.
Right.
Yep.
Right. It's possible. I mean, honestly, it doesn't surprise me. They can do anything.
It's scary, is what it is. Yeah. Anyways,
Well,
Layla, thank you so
we'll
much.
stick on.
God bless you, and we'll talk soon, okay?
You too. Thank you, Mike. Take care. Take care, everyone. Bye.
So we got Layla in, and Steve is in the comments. Steve, why did you block, what's his name in the comments here? Ravi, I don't think he said anything bad. I just hope I hope this is the real Steve the plumber I gave a wrench to. Okay, guys, okay, I'm going to put the link again in here. I really need you guys to watch this video. Please watch this video and share it because this is a big deal. This is not a joke. And Canada is headed to some really turbulent times. Never mind the real estate. Everything is hitting pretty bad times right now. Everything is hitting really bad times, and I don't know what to do anymore. I'm trying to get the message out there. I'm throwing my life on the line. I do get threatened quite a bit and here and there, and people kind of voicing their hate towards me, and it's something that I've put up with now for many years. And yeah. Anyways, so let's thank everybody here for the Mike in the Night show. And I'm going to be heading out and getting some good sleep. I really hope you guys could share this video when it's up so people could get it. For people that missed the show, I'm really sorry, guys, for this hiccup. So Craig Cook, thank you so much for calling in and being part of the show. Steve the plumber. Layla. Sean Lieberman, Anthony, Eamon Lally, always a pleasure to have in the comments. And who else? Anthony, Margaret. I got a lot of people, same with the people, because we don't have a lot of people tonight on the show. Debt and Regret. Ravi, Walking Journey came into the show tonight to make an appearance. Eamon again. Jordan Retro. My man Jordan Retro from Montreal. You know, I haven't seen Kevin Tavares in a long time. I have him on Facebook. I'm gonna message him because a lot of people have been saying they haven't been getting notifications. They have to check my channel, and it defeats the purpose of them having this notification thing when they're only going to notify people for channels. And I know YouTube is making a big mistake trying to switch over to this Mickey Mouse Netflix trying to thing. If they wanted to do a Netflix type thing, they should have started it from the beginning and stopped playing with people's lives, you know, because then another platform would have come up and then we would have been allowed to be on there instead. But everyone basically believed in YouTube and thought, you know, things were going to eventually change. But everything's just getting worse, you know. And I like you guys, yeah, a lot, you know. I mean, you guys been with me for many years now. A lot of people have been with me. There's people watching me for 10 years now. There's people that even remember me from my old channel when that one got taken down. My channel got taken down in 2011, 12. In 2013, I think my channel got taken down because I was talking about Australian housing market going up in price. I was talking about the price in Vancouver, how the housing market didn't crash in Vancouver in 2010, like everyone expected it to crash after the Olympics, and it never crashed. I made videos discussing this and discussing how things were going to become unaffordable and the cost of living in Vancouver would be so expensive, and they removed my channel. I lost my channel for that. And because I was a small fry, I think it was like 3,800 subscribers, and it took me less than 6 months to get that many subscribers. Now, if I get 40 subscribers in 3 months, I'm grateful if I get 40 people subscribed to me in 3-4 months. You know? So we got Agent K saying, claims Australian extending stimulus payments beyond September. North Queensland decimated by lack of tourism. Oh yeah, it's gonna get bad all over the Commonwealth. Guys, share this, please. That's all I'm asking for. I'm just down. I'm just kind of feeling down about tonight. I kind of wish there was something more I could do but it's so out of my hands, right? Anyways, guys, let's play one last mic in the night.
Gemini King, Mike in the night, and the Gemini crew. Ooh. The night, you're here with Mike in the night. Let's just talk about the world. Give this page another turn, 'cause you're here with us tonight. Everything's alright when you're here with Mike in the night. Mike it through the night, you're here with Mike in the night. Giving the world light when you're here with Mike in the night. Mike it through the night, you're here with Mike in the night. Sometimes things are just absurd, so let's just talk about the world, 'cause you're here with us tonight. Mike it through the night, you're here with
Let's just talk about the world.
Give this page another curl.
'Cause you're here with us
tonight.
All right, guys, you take care. And if you can't take care, please stay safe. Thanks for watching.